Don't want to forget that. Yeah, I'm not. My Wi-Fi has behaved itself for quite some time now. I am ready to begin the next 2-week cycle of my internet company deciding to throttle me, and then me calling them and them not being able to fix it, and then sending a person out, and then they're just like, yeah, I don't know, everything, buy a new modem, buy a new router, upgrade to our business class. I'm just like, okay, all right. And then after a week, everything just works again. Like, okay, thank you. Just got a call, and I just need to have you waste some money for you to just decide to stop throttling me, I guess. Oh, the luck point system? Is that what you're saying? The luck point system? Yeah. So interestingly enough, we stopped using the luck point system in my games 6 months ago, I think, roughly. I don't know, 3 or 6 months ago. What we found was metagaming. That, stop biting me. You see him run away. He's like, dad is gonna he's coming back. He's gonna keep biting me too. So basically players were just metagaming. You know, it was like they would roll like a 12 on the die, and they would know the monster's armor class is somewhere around a 15. And so they would just add three luck points and then hit it, you know, or it was especially on saving throws. They would fail a saving throw by like, they'd roll an 11 on a saving throw, and they'd be like, well, I bet the saving throw is about a 14. So I'm going to add 3 luck points to it and then make the saving throw. And not only was it metagaming, but it was invariably making, because they would save the luck points up, they would save them up for the big boss encounters or the times where it really mattered. And then the climatic encounters and stuff were just cakewalks because they just use luck points to metagame their way through the encounter and stuff, you know? So yeah, we observed that happening. I mean, I observed it happening, but it was also like, I think one of my players brought it up too. He was like, the luck point system makes the game too easy. We just can use the luck points to get past anything. I think the first instance we saw the luck point system becoming just crazy was during Death House. We were doing Death House on my Curse of Strahd game, and they used the luck points to just make, the Death House had activated and was gonna like munch on them and just probably murderize them, and they used luck points like crazy to get out of there without a scratch, essentially. And it was challenging to leave otherwise. So yeah, that was the when I saw that, I was like, whoa, holy crap. And then I saw more instances of similar situations, and I was like, yeah, the luck point system is not going to work here. Then we go back to inspiration as normal. No, except that you can stockpile it. You can have up to 3 at a time. It's one of those instances where you homebrew, or you make a house rule, you make a homebrew house rule for the game. You test it out for a while, and it seems great at first. Everybody likes it at first, but as you're essentially playtesting it, right? Only in your home group. And as you playtest it, you realize, whoa, actually, there are unintended consequences here. Namely, in this case, metagaming and then being able to cheese through certain parts of the game with ease that was not anticipated. And then you're just like, yep, this rule is just going to go away. We're better off using the rules as written in this case. Now, it doesn't always happen that way, obviously, but sometimes it does. You know, you make a rule and you're like, let's try it out. Now, sometimes you try out a homebrew rule, and it is obvious very, very, very fast that it is not going to work and needs tweaking, or just throw it away. Other times you can have a homebrew rule that people like and you use it for a while, and then you slowly start to see the problems with it, you know, and you can either change or tweak it, or you can just throw it away. You know, with the luck points, we decided to throw them away and just go back to inspiration. And these were I think these were just conversations with my players. At least with my Curse of Strahd group. It was in my Curse of Strahd group that we were talking about the luck point system for quite some time, trying to tweak it a little bit and make it better. but ultimately we decided to throw it away. And then for my other group that uses it, my Ancient Dragon group, I just told them, I was like, guys, I want to stop using it. Here are my reasons for stopping using it. Are there any objections or anything about this? Or are you guys okay with it? And they were okay with it, so we just changed. Yes, that's true, Goliath Cleric. The more control over the dice you give the players, the more they will metagame. It's inevitable. Yeah, lucky, all of the lucky, you know, the divination wizard, all of those things. That's just metagaming. It is. Those game, if the game mechanics they encourage you to metagame, I suppose you could say, and force you in a way, I suppose. 3 ads. Welcome to Twitch. You could say the same thing about YouTube. Welcome to those platforms, but they have to pay the bills, you know, and it's far better for you to just have to watch some stupid ads than for you to actually have to pay money to watch their platforms. So it is definitely the far lesser of the evils, in my opinion. Although there are things you can buy on Twitch to not watch ads ever, but then you have to pay money. Most people don't want to pay money. So it's a fair exchange. It's a fair exchange of value, you know. Except that Twitch's ads are so stupid long, you can't skip them. I guess that's the only downside. All right, we should start this. This cat, you are just gonna get it. He's biting me. He wants attention. He's just being a big baby. All right, we will get to questions. I'm gonna start this thing off here. I gotta find the right buttons. I haven't been streaming long enough to know how everything works quite yet. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Friday night Q&A live stream. Tonight we're going to be answering your dungeon mastering questions. It's going to be beautiful. Throw your questions in the chat. My moderators will throw them in a spreadsheet. I will pull them out. I will answer them. It'll just leave you in awe, I'm sure. I don't know. I'll do my best. Throw your questions, we'll answer them and all that kind of stuff. We do this every single week. So if your stuff doesn't get answered tonight, you know, you can always come hang out next week and then be like, Luke, you didn't answer my question, you jerk. You know, don't spam though. My moderators will smoke you if you spam. Please. Spammers die. That is our mantra around here, I guess you could say. So let's get through some shout outs, sleazy plugs and stuff like that, and then we will get into the Q&A. So first things first for our thingy bobber stuff, let's do our shout outs. So these wonderful folks on the screen that you can see right here are some of my mini patrons who help support all of the content that I deliver for the D&D and RPG community. My videos, the free stuff on my website, these live streams, all the stuff that I publish and create for free for everybody to use to help improve their games. These folks help keep the lights on and make that stuff possible. I am deeply appreciative to all my patrons and my subscribers here on Twitch. Everybody helps. And these folks right here, these dudes help a lot. And so they get their names read out every live stream. All right, somebody get ready with the timer. We're trying. I always try to read it like, you know, I'm like the Micro Machine speed reader guy who goes really fast. Not really. I do my best though, but I always like to see how long it takes me. Here we go. 5e Magic Shop, Anthony L, a very merry on birthday, Amanda W, Arutha, Beoban, Brad A, Brandon C, Brandon S, Candy Sawyer, Chad B, Chase O, Chris C, Chris E, Chris H, Chris R, Chris Y, Cody B, Connor M, Contrary Gravy, David M, Dragon Demon, Dresna, Dylan S, Edward L, Ed R, Endorian 72, Ericos, Fallon, Gary, Goliath Cleric, Heretic, Hydra Slayer, Izzy T, Jacob S, Jake L, James L, Jeremy W, Joshin B, Joel L, Jonathan S, Josh G, Joshua G, Joseph H, Joe, Josue B, Josue S, Kyle S, Karen C, K, Ken S, Kevin F, Kevin B, P, Kezades, Kirby Crafty Matt, Kyle M, Kiriako, Leopold X92, Lodwick B, Lord Kimiak, Lori S, Maelstrom, Michael C, Michael H, Mumbles, Munlo V, Owen D, Paul B, Paul R, Paul Y, Penguin Butt, Pierre P, Published, authored, Race W, Rachel S, Ramsey M, Razlik, Robert W, Rob M, Rock and Roll Joe, Ron H, Ryan G, Sakura, Scott C, Simon, Snapbragger, Sophie M, Son of a Sofa Man, Stetson H, Stephen F, Tactical Tokens, The Old DM, The Pickle, Theta Tag, Tim Black, Tony M, Tooth and Nail Rules, Tristan W, Tyler N, Tyler R, Xavier H. Thank you, folks. Appreciate it. All right, let's hit the next one. So, all of these wonderful folks that I just read off on the screen, in fact, all of my patrons, every single month get an issue of Lair magazine. We've been publishing this now since January, and it has a plethora of RPG and D&D 5th edition resources in it. The July issue of Lair magazine is about to come out next week, and it has in it a crap ton of cool stuff that will help reduce your prep time and improve your games. For instance, it's going to have adventure ideas, spells, new spells, puzzles, traps, 2 5th edition adventures, the Shattered Lair of Mount Fallow for level 12, the Temple of Two Dragons, level 7 adventure written by our very own Goliath cleric here. He rocked it on this one. There's going to be monsters in it and character subclasses, 4 character subclasses contributed by the Dungeon Coach. Very, very cool. And in July, all my patrons are going to get some bonus content as well. We will be giving them another map pack with a bunch of very high quality maps they can use in their games, wilderness maps and dungeon maps or location based maps with a bunch of rooms in them, that kind of cool stuff. And there's going to be city tiles as well. You can use these city tiles to assemble your own cities. So yeah, that's the bonus content. That'll come out next week, right before I go on vacation. So just in time for me to escape. Oh, that's right. We also, if you guys want to get back issues of Lair magazine as well, I do have a DM Lair store. You can get all the back issues that are out thus far. Not the most recent ones. The most recent ones are only available to my patrons, but once they come off from the patrons, they will go onto the store here. And there is a bundle available as well. If you want to grab the bundle, it has the first 3 issues all thrown in there together. You save a little bit of money on it. You get a whole crap ton of resources for your game. So if that interests you, that is available as well. And we are doing the Beat the Boss thing. So if you guys kill the boss 5 times, we are going to be having a giveaway. I'll just give away a D&D book of your choice if you live within a shippable area for me. If you live out in the boonies, like, I don't know, someplace not in the US that I can't ship to because it's crazy expensive, then I'll just give you some back issues of Lair magazine or something. So you can kill the boss by subbing, cheering, tipping, and there's like a link right there for where you can tip. And if you deliver the killing blow, your name will go right, I can't point, right there. So right now I'm the boss, but if you deliver the killing blow, you become the boss, and then your name will be up there, and then everybody can kill you. I'm sure that's appealing. Let me put my name up there so people can try to kill me. So we are doing that tonight. If we kill the boss 5 times, at the end of the stream, we'll do our giveaway, and everybody who is present at the end of the stream has an opportunity to win. You do not have to actually spend any money or anything like that. It's just if you're here, you get entered into the drawing and you can win. So that's how the Beat the Boss thing works. All right. Where am I? Oh, I gotta look at my questions. All right. Being killed by someone doesn't sound bad. It depends on the context, though. Where are my questions, dude? There we go. July 25th? June 25th. Nice. All right, let's see what we got going on here. What's my armor class? I rolled a 17 and dealt 150 damage. I don't know. I have a really high armor class. Yeah. Joe freaking, what's up, dude? Where are you going? An Icewind Dale group? Cool. Have fun, dude. Luke's a DM. His armor class is infinite because DMs don't get stats. Yeah, we can't be killed. Yeah. It's German damage. It counts twice. I don't think it works that way, dude. Hey, Luke. Hey, what's up? My players zoom through what I've prepared in under 2 hours. Prepare more. How can I fix this so the session's a bit longer? Prepare more. Have more stuff for them to do. That's how it gets done. Have more stuff for them to do. Woo! I mean, you can't make your players go slower. Your players are going to go at the pace they're going to go at. And if they're chewing through content, then you need to give them more content. Here's some stuff though. Here's some stuff for you to think about. So, I don't know how your group plays. If they poke around at stuff, do the exploration stuff, if they spend a lot of time talking to NPCs, or if they're just blaze through the dungeon, not explore, just find the monsters and fight the monsters. Combat takes a long time in 5th edition. It does. You could have a standard combat encounter could easily take a half an hour, say. At higher levels, I've had combats that go like an hour or 3 hours. Depends on like who's involved and what's going on and how big of a combat it is and if it's a boss or something. So combat is always a way to provide content, but you can't just stuff your session full of combat unless your players love combat encounters as well. You definitely want to have some, NPCs in there that they can talk with and interact with. If your players don't talk with NPCs, if they just kill them or something, I don't know. You obviously you're going to tailor your game to like what your players' interests are and what your interests are as well. But the bottom line is, if they're going through it in 2 hours, they need more content. That's just the answer. The answer is create more content for them, create more stuff for them to do. That doesn't mean you have to spend like tons of crazy time prepping. Like I can easily, Squeaky, stop it. I can easily fill out a half hour to an hour with a couple encounters, and they don't have to be combat encounters. They could just be a normal encounter that is an NPC where they talk or something. I don't know, but you just need more content. That's the answer. That's the only answer, is more content. You can't change your players. They are who they are, and if they chew through it, you need more content. Are combat encounters worth it if they match the story but aren't difficult? They can be, yeah. I have on occasion thrown exceedingly easy encounters at my players that turn out to be combat. And if it's super trivial, I had a group of, I think they were level 17 or something. And they came across a cave full of goblins. And there was some talkie. They were talking with them for a little bit, etc. But then at one point, my players were like, okay, whatever. We're just going to kill these stupid goblins. And I just okay, how do you guys kill them? Is there any particular way you want to do it? Just want to describe it to me? I had them narrate their killing of the goblins because there was no challenge there. Like, okay, would a couple of them maybe gotten hit for a few points of damage? Sure. But it was trivial and uninteresting, and so we just narrated the content, the combat. So yes, you can include trivial encounters for your players or easy ones and stuff like that. And there should always be a mixture of easy, medium, hard, and deadly combats as well. Not everything can be super hard. So, but you can absolutely throw things in there, encounters and combats that aren't intended to be challenging to them. And that's a good thing because that makes them feel really good, because then they feel like superheroes. They're just like, ha, we just munched through these guys. They had nothing. And that makes them feel good. You know what I mean? And then they might have another one coming up that's going to be really hard, but it's okay. Variety. It's about variety. You want variety. If everything is easy, it gets boring. If everything is hard, then it starts to feel maybe a little bit grindy, or they feel like really stressed out all the time because every combat is super hard, Mr. Kringle, thank you for the tier 1 gifted sub. I appreciate that. Mr. Kringle has did. I'm not illiterate. I know speaky. Has done some damage. Orc dude, thank you for the 300 bits. I appreciate it. You guys are working on the boss. You're just slivering me a little bit more, man. What's the best way to get my friends, people who have no idea what the game is but might like it, to play and enjoy? What should I do as a DM? Okay, the best way to get them to play it is to ask them to play it, make your case, be convincing, and ask them to play it. You know, get them in there to play it. That's your first step. Second step, what should you do? How do you get them to like it? Run an awesome game of D&D. That's how you get them to like it. What should you do as a DM? Run an awesome game as a that's what you do. You have to talk to them, try to convince them to come give it a shot, and then be like, guys, let's just try it out. I'm gonna do a one shot. It's one game session. We're gonna play the game. It's like coming over and playing Axis and Allies or Risk or insert your game of choice. We're gonna play it out for one night, you guys. If you don't like it, then you don't have to keep on playing it. Like, I know people are always like, well, yeah, but isn't D&D an ongoing game? There's like this long campaign that never ends. Like, I can't sign up for that. You just tell them it's like one night, you guys. If you don't like it, we don't play again. It's not that big of a deal. So you got to make your case, pitch them, get them in there, and then you need to run an awesome game for them that they have fun and enjoy playing. And be prepared for some of them to like it and want to play again, and others not to like it. It might not fit their taste, and that's not on you. That's not your failing. It's not the failing of the game. It's a failing of, I mean, it's not a failing, but it's personal preference. Not everybody is going to enjoy the game and like the game, and that's perfectly fine. And you might not want to force those people to play. You might want to find friends or acquaintances or strangers that are interested in playing, because then when you get together, yeah, then well, I don't know. I enjoy that. I enjoy playing in games where everybody who is there wants to play the game, and they are motivated to play the game, and they're interested in it. And like, yeah, I've had games that have had players in them that really didn't care a whole lot about the game, but they were really just there for the social aspect of it and hanging out with people. And yeah, I would rather have players who actually want to play the game, and our social aspect is great and stuff, and they're there for that too, but they really want to play the game. You know, those are the gaming groups that I've been in where we have the most fun and are the most exciting and stuff like that. When I have players who are just really disinterested in the game, but they're there because the friends are there, those games have been more of the lackluster games where it's kind of like, we have fun and stuff like that, but I don't know, it's not always to my tastes. I guess I should say. I knew I shouldn't have run a terrible game. Yeah, it's like, yeah. How do I get him to stay and keep on playing? Run a bad game. Oh, crap. Okay, hold on. Run a good game, run a bad game. I'm gonna go with bad game. Wrong choice. Oh, crap. Yeah, you want people who want to be there. If somebody doesn't want to be there, then give them a way out. Give them an out. Be like, yo, it doesn't seem like you had a whole lot of fun, or maybe this isn't a good fit for you or something. That's cool, dude. Like, I totally get it. Not everybody enjoys this, you know? So you don't, I'm not gonna force you to come, you know? So it's fine to have that conversation and give somebody an out so they don't feel like obligated to come play. Yeah, you just have to be good enough for everybody to have fun and not leave. You just have to be good enough. Yeah. A question from Penguin Butt. Wow. Penguin Butt. Penguin Butt, hi. Wave. Is she still here? Did she leave? She left. She came in, she left a question, then she left. Oh my gosh. Really? I'm not answering your question now. Ridiculous. Oh, there we go. Hi. Okay, I'll answer your question. This question sounds like familiar or something. Like, yeah. When planning a one-shot for level 19 characters. This is interesting because we're actually, I think I'm playing in a one-shot like 2 or 3 weeks from now, and I have to make a level 19 character. I think it's like a couple weeks from now or 3 weeks from now. I don't know. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But I'm actually gonna be playing in a one shot for a level 19. I think it's level 19. I gotta make a character. I'll figure it out. How do you know if it's balanced and that you have prepared enough to fill a 4-hour time slot? Okay, so first of all, an adventure for level 19, take all wonderful, dream-laden, hopeful, wishful thoughts about game balance, ball them up into a nice little crumpled up like trash heap and just throw them out. At level 19, you cannot expect anything at all to be balanced. Balance does not exist at that high of a level of the game. Characters have access to spells and abilities that will blow your mind. You will be just slack-jawed and flabbergasted by how quickly we will demolish everything at level 19. You need to throw crazy crap at us that you are confident will murderize us in moments, only to see us do just fine. So there's no such thing as balance at level 19. There's only hopeful guesses, really. Educated guesses, hypothetical guesses, best intentions and best wishes, and you do your very best you can, and then you're gonna see the reality that unfolds at the game table. As far as how do you prepare enough content to fill a 4-hour time slot, I will tell you from experience that at the high levels of a game like that, combat takes forever. Combat just the higher the level of the characters, the longer and longer and longer combat seems to take. Well, one reason is everything does a lot more hit points, even though everything technically does more damage and stuff. But I don't know why it is, but from my experience, combat just takes a lot longer at higher levels. So one single encounter that at level 2 or 3 might take 15 minutes, at level 10 takes 30 minutes. At level 15 takes 45 minutes to an hour. At level 19 could take well over an hour. It just happens. I don't understand it necessarily. I'm sure if we were to analyze it, we might be able to figure out why that happens. But at higher levels, my experience has been combat takes forever. So if you have like some exploration stuff for us and some NPCs to talk to and stuff, and then you could just have probably 3 combat encounters, and that'll take up easily the 4-hour time slot. In fact, in all of the one-shots that I've ever run, there's only been one that I actually didn't have enough content to fill up the time slot. And when that happened, the only reason it happened was that I designed an adventure that was mostly non-combat. And because this was the Bertrude's Bazaar of Wonders, I streamed it several months ago. It was mostly non-combat. And because there was no combat, things got resolved very, very, very quickly. They were actually on pace to finish the entire adventure in about 3 hours. It was gonna end early, and I'm just like, I don't know what they're gonna do here. But then I think I made up a random encounter, a Medusa at the end of it or something, as they were on their way out. There was something that happened while they were in the bazaar that triggered that, though. I don't think it was a. Oh no, that was. Oh wait. That was actually part of the event. Was that part of the adventure? Or did I make that up on the fly? I can't remember. I might have made that up on the fly. I don't remember. Either it was part of the adventure or I decided on the fly that I would put that Medusa there because we had an hour to go. And I knew that if I put a Medusa encounter here, they were like level 3 or something. I'm like, if I put this encounter here, this will easily take up the rest of this hour. So I managed to fill that time up. But every other one shot I've ever done always goes over. Always. It's really hard to keep it to 4 hours. It's hard. So I wouldn't worry too much. Are you freaking out yet, Penguin Butt? Have you gotten to the freak out stage, or are you going to do that like the day before or the day of? I'm just curious where your level of panic is at the moment. Raka says, I watched your video on using Ac Ink in some games and actually plan to blend it into my new campaign. I was wondering how much the major domos come into play, how to use them effectively. The major domos come into play a whole lot, dude. My players are, my Ancient Dragon campaign uses the 𝐑𝐄𝐒 rules, and the major domo comes into play all the time. Every time they go back, every time they finish an adventure, they go back to the major domo, and he's kind of like their hub. Helps manage all of their business activities. They own like 4 different businesses now. They keep on acquiring them over the course of their adventuring career. And the mayordomo helps run them all. He keeps track of their staff. He gets interns for them. I've actually set it up so that their mayordomo is also the hub through which he actually gets the contracts from Acquisitions Incorporated to then give them to the players to be like, well, you guys, these are the contracts we have. We have this contract, and this contract. Are any of these which of these contracts interests you? And then my players will be like, let's go do that one. And then the mayordomo's like, all right, well, you know, here are the details and stuff like that. And then my players will go off and do it and stuff and all that kind of thing. So the mayordomo comes into play a lot. It's not like, it doesn't like take up a lot of the game time, you know. It might just be like 20 minutes of talking to the mayordomo and figuring some stuff out after an adventure, you know, usually as part of, it might be combined with downtime to some extent too. But it gets used a lot. It comes into play a whole lot, is what I've found. It's definitely, and it's good too. It like, it allows the players, the mechanic of having the mayordomo allows the players to essentially run the business side of things vicariously, or I should say the mayordomo, the players can have like business interests and different things that they're doing. And the mayordomo serves the role of coordinating it and taking care of all the logistics. Now, the dungeon master is, I'm role playing the mayordomo. And so I'm the one that's actually taking care of all the logistics of stuff, which basically means that I just decide what's going to happen for some of these things, or I roll dice or something, but it's not a lot of work. I just decide, oh, what's the most logical thing that would happen here? Okay, this is what's going to happen. And then it makes it easy, as opposed to if you had the players running the mayordomo or something, then you'd actually have to have like game mechanics or something, probably maybe to deal with all that stuff. So, but it works pretty well. Old dear, thank you for the tier 1, dude. I appreciate that. We are smiting the boss slowly but surely. You're very welcome, dude. By the way, the 𝐑𝐄𝐒 book works really well. I like those rule sets. However, you don't need to use that book either. The patron system that's in Tasha's is essentially the same thing. And the Eberron book also has a patron system. It's specific to Eberron and factions and patrons specific to Eberron, but it's the same idea. It's the same system in essence. Only the patrons in Tasha's and in Eberron give you a larger variety of patrons to choose from. Essentially, Acquisitions Incorporated is a patron. They are essentially a patron, and Acquisitions Incorporated has about 50 pages of rules that deal with that one patron. So they've expanded it out quite a bit, as opposed to if you look at Tasha's or Eberron, the patrons are condensed into like 3 to 4, maybe 5 pages of information about that patron. But honestly, you don't need too much more information than that. So those patron rules will completely suffice as well. Though 𝐑𝐄𝐒 does build it out quite a bit. I like the 𝐑𝐄𝐒 flavor. I think it's cool. So I'm perfectly happy with that. We also publish patrons in Lair magazine as well from time to time. Although the last time we published it, it was more like evil factions as opposed to patrons. Orca Dude Boss, thank you for the tier 1 gifted sub. He is working over the boss. Oh, there we go. We're at half hit points now. Very nice. All right, I think I did that one. What are your thoughts on charging to run modules? Okay, so pay to play. Like the Dungeon Master charged people to play in his game. I think, yep, got it. I've been considering maybe giving it a go, but was wondering if that was maybe considered bad form. I don't know why it would be considered bad form. There are lots of people that charge players to play D&D. I do. For my Ancient Dragon group, I charge players. It's not bad form. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not immoral. It's not wrong. Now, are there going to be a whole bunch of people who are like, who have like a hissy fit because there's somebody who dares charge for entertainment? Well, then line up all the actresses and actors, line up all the sports and people and celebrities, just line them up in a row and gun them down, because guess what? They all charge to entertain us. And so a dungeon master whose primary role is to run an entertaining game, dare he charge people? Oh, holy crap, no way. He's charging people to have fun. Well, the next time you go to the movies and you're watching a movie with popcorn, you should get out your pitchforks and torches and burn down the movie theater, because they're charging you to have fun, to enjoy yourself. That's all a dungeon master who's charging you is doing. He is running a game, or she is running a game for your enjoyment and gives you 4 hours of entertainment. So that's pretty much all they're doing. So there's nothing wrong with it. The thing though is, if you're going to charge people for something, you got to be good at it. People aren't gonna, they might pay once for something that sucks, but they're probably not gonna pay again. So if you want to charge, like amateur athletes probably don't make a bunch of money because people aren't willing to pay to watch them, right? Actors and actresses that are just like, what do you want? They aren't like the big names. They're just kind of like fill-ins, or what do they call them? Where they just walk around to fill in space in the crowds and stuff. I forget what those are called. They don't make a lot of money because they're fill-ins. But like the big actors that really entertain, they're the ones that make the money. So like you have to be good at it, right? Or people aren't going to pay for it. It's like any product, any service that you're offering. You have to be good at it, or people are probably not going to pay for it. So there's nothing wrong with it, but you got to be good at it. Understudies, extras. That's what I was looking for. Extras. Yeah. Shadow Garm says if they're paying for it, they're going to be more committed and pay more attention. There is so much truth in that. There is so much truth in that. My players who pay to play in my game, like their butts are in those seats. They almost never miss a game session. They're paying for it. And they're involved, they're interested, they're playing the game. Like, yeah, they're totally, their head is in the game. So, and they tend to be, this is interesting too, they tend to be super high caliber players too. They tend to be very good players. Now, are you gonna have bad players that come in that are paying? Sure, it's gonna happen. But this is an interesting concept. Generally, and this is like a business thing too. Generally, the more expensive something is, it's going to attract higher caliber customers. So if you're selling something dirt cheap, you're going to get a lot of cheapos in there that are buying it, and you're probably going to have lots of complaints and stuff, and people don't like it and they're giving you lots of problems. But when you're selling something that's very premium and very expensive, you tend to attract customers who are not going to cause a whole lot of problems. You know, they're paying you a lot of money, they get a premium quality product, and they're not going to bother you about it. They're just going to be satisfied and go on about their day. Premium, high-priced products tend to attract premium customers who don't bother you a whole lot. Now, not always, but as a general rule, that's kind of how it works. So if you price your games high and can back it up by delivering an entertaining game, you're going to attract high-quality customers, in this case players, who are going to be good players, and probably you're not going to get caught a whole lot of problems from them either. But if you price yourself super cheap, then you're going to get dirt cheap customers that might cause you problems, because the barrier of entry is very low. Anybody can kind of get in, you know. But to get into a high cost game, you got to be really dedicated and be willing to pay for it, and you're going to take it more seriously, you know, because you're paying a lot to be there. So that's like a broad business idea, though, you know. It's an argument for, you know, higher prices. It's like a barrier of entry. You get better customers. Do you think Wizards of the Coast heard you saying there was no Feywild Adventures and that's why they're releasing one? No. Wizards of the Coast is a company. They're very intelligent people for the most part, with a game plan to develop products and sell them to people and keep the prosperity of their company going. And so I'm sure they regularly evaluate business opportunities. And every time they're looking at modules, they're like, okay, what are we doing? Let's do some modules. All right, what do we got going on? Well, we already got like some devils and stuff and demons. All right, cool. We got like this going on. Okay, cool. We got this. What are we missing? What are we missing, guys? Come on, guys. What are we missing? Well, we don't have any Fey adventures. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, let's do that. I mean, it's just something they come up with. I had no effect on that. I'm positive. And they've probably had that in the works way before I ever said anything about it. All right, I answered that one. How do you revive a PC through magic? Or should they just die? If they don't get revived, they are by definition dead. So yes, they should be dead. If they are not revived through magic, if they are dead, they are dead. If they are revived through magic, they are revived through magic, and thus they are not dead. I think I got that question. Nailed it. They're only mostly dead. Thank you, Ambers. I appreciate that. My players are wonderful. However, they however take far too long to do anything. For example, in Curse of Strahd, when they were exploring the Death House, they took 3 to 4 hour sessions to complete the whole place. I think my group did too, but it's Death House. It's a pretty big dungeon. And they were exploring and they were poking around. They were looking at things and stuff like that. They were taking their time because they were like, holy crap, we might die. So yeah, my group took that long too. That's not unexpected for me. For a dungeon of that size to take 3, maybe 4 game sessions, that's not unexpected. That's pretty normal. I would expect that. So for me, that's not slow, to be honest. Currently, the Festival of the Blazing Sun has taken us 5 sessions and counting. Okay, now we got something going on here. The Festival of the Blazing Sun has taken 5 game sessions? What are they doing? What have they been doing for 5 game sessions at a festival? Like, when I had the Festival of the Blazing Sun, I simply described to my players the procession down the main street and how they had like things that, I don't know, I think they had a big like sun or effigy or something that they ended up burning at the end of it. I just described it to them and it took like, I don't know, 5 minutes, 10 minutes or something. There wasn't a whole lot there. It was just like, yeah, this is what happens, guys. Yeah, there we go. I don't want to rush them or railroad them. Player agency is, in my opinion, paramount if they're too indecisive. But what are they doing at a session at the Blazing Sun Festival? Like, there's nothing even to do there, is there? There's nothing. It's just like, it's an event that happens. And there you go. You just saw an event happen. They're too indecisive. They hyperanalyze everything and it becomes tedious for everyone. What can I do? I don't know. You have to talk to him. He gotta be like, guys, we gotta talk, guys. This game takes forever. We've been at the Festival of the Blazing Sun for 5 game sessions. What are we doing? Are you guys, is this really fun for you? Are you all having fun enjoying this? I think you just need to have a blunt conversation with them and be like, guys, what is going on? Like, is this how you want to play the game? You mentioned in your comment, you said it becomes tedious for everyone. So assuming it's tedious for them too, and they feel bogged down and they're not enjoying it, then you need to be like, guys, time out. Okay, this is what's happening. This is currently what's happening. Things in the game are taking an exceedingly long time to resolve. Things that shouldn't take a long time to resolve. And you guys seem to not be able to make up your mind a whole lot. As a consequence, not a whole lot of stuff is happening or getting done. We're just kind of spinning our tires here. It seems like you guys aren't enjoying this yourselves either. It seems like you'd rather get on with the things, but somehow we don't seem to be able to get going. So what do we do? How do we resolve this? And then you need to have a conversation. You need to figure out, cat's biting me. You need to figure out, try to see if you can find out what the reason is. What is the reason that they're spinning their wheels? If you can root cause it, 5Y it, figure out what is the reason that they're so indecisive, that they're spinning their wheels and that nothing seems to be happening. Find out why. You need to find out why. If you can't find out why, you can't solve your problem. So you need to talk with them and figure out what's causing this. Drill it down, find out what's causing it. Once you identify what the cause of the indecision is, then you can actually start to solve it. It could honestly, knowing what I know about 𝐑𝐂𝐄𝐒 is a pretty hot mess. 𝐑𝐂𝐄𝐒 in 𝐑𝐂𝐒 was not written like a typical adventure. 𝐑𝐂𝐄𝐒 is just like, here's a city, here's a bunch of stuff going on here. Dungeon Master, have fun. There's really no guidance on what you're supposed to do with it, how you're supposed to present things to your players. The module is very, very sandboxy. It really it presents not just one situation like a dungeon or an adventure, but it presents a it's a town. It's not a massive city. It presents a town with a variety of things going on, with no real indications to the dungeon master of what you're supposed to do with that. So it's up to the dungeon master to decide, okay, what am I going to do with this town? What are the plot hooks that I'm going to give my players? What am I going to introduce to them so that they can try to figure out what they're going to do, what their objectives are? Because your players are going to walk into that town and they're going to be like, why are we here? What is our goal for being here? What is our objective? What are we trying to accomplish? And if as a dungeon master, you don't plant that plot hook, then they're not going to know what they're going to supposed to do. It might be as simple as, since I know how 𝐑𝐂𝐄𝐒 is written in 𝐑𝐂𝐒 not super well. It is, but it isn't. They might just not know what the crap they're supposed to do. They need a plot hook. They need a nudge, like, hey guys, this is why you're here. This is the adventure hook. This is the plot hook. This is the problem that needs to be resolved. They might need that nudge, knowing what I know about 𝐑𝐂𝐒. But it might be something else. It might be something totally different. But you got to find out what it is, why it is, and then you got to drill down into it. That's the only real reason, the only real way you're going to find out, what's going to make them go a little bit faster. So there's a bunch of information. And it's not information. It's the approach. It's the approach to solving that. Oh, jeez. You gave them 7 plot hooks in 𝐑𝐂𝐄𝐒, but they only unraveled 3 of them over 15 sessions. Holy crap. You guys have spent 15 game sessions in 𝐑𝐂𝐒? Oh, wow. Yeah, that is very slow. That is crazy slow. Are you guys playing the game the whole time, or is there a lot of like side chatter, talking about stuff that has nothing to do with D&D? Like, are you guys like seriously like we're playing the game, or is there just lots of distractions and going to get food and pizza coming and talking about the football game and stuff like that? Like, is it like just playing D&D, or is there lots of distractions and crap too? Because that's another question, since you're still here. Now they're all ants talking. Penguin butt. They're all like, what dance do you want to do? Oh, let's do this dance. Let's do this dance. I'm waiting for an answer. Yeah, I need coffee. Mr. Crinkle, thank you for the 1,000 bits. Very cool. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Vampanoy, thank you for the 100 bits. Mr. Crinkle, another 100 bits. Thank you. Orca Dude, thank you for the 190 bits. This is my mom. I put it on silence. It's my mom, you guys. It's literally my mom. It's literally my mom. I told you. I told you. Hello, hello, mom. Hello, mom. Mom, yes, I am. You call me every time I'm streaming. I told everybody, when we were starting the stream, I told them that you were probably going to call me during the stream, and now you are. Very important question. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah. Trowbridge Road 1. Yeah. Yeah, it's not, it's actually closer than where she was driving before. Yeah. Okay. All right. Mom says hi. Goodbye. I love you. Told you. I so called it. I so called it. I'm like a prophet. My mom says hi too, by the way, folks. I need coffee. Yeah. Pasties. Oh yes, my mom like makes pasties once a year. Oh, I need pasties. We're actually going on vacation next week. We're leaving next Friday, and we will be gone for a while. And we're going to be going through the Upper Peninsula. Well, yeah, through the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and we're gonna stop by a pasty place, and we are gonna get stocked up. Gonna take a big cooler. We're gonna take a bunch of pasties with us. It's gonna be beautiful. Yes, it's gonna be beautiful. So there's actually a place where I can order pasties and they will ship them to me as well. All right, Brackus. All right. Oh, you guys, don't talk about pasties. Stop talking about pasties. Okay, pop quiz. Is a pasty a pie? Yes or no? Is a pasty a pie? Yes, it is a pie, or no, it is not. Pop quiz, everybody. Yes or no? Is pasty a pie? Is pasty a pie? A hand pie? Yes or no? Is pasty a pie? Pasty a pie? Ed, just say yes. Prediction started. What is this? Win channel points if you make the correct prediction. What is this? I don't know what that is. Stop talking about a pasty. Ask a question about a pasty. I am a hypocrite. I can't. Predict. Are pasties a pie? Okay, let's see. Oh wow. Oh, this is interesting. Who did this? Who started this? I didn't know this was a thing. Did one of my moderators do this? It looks like 98. Are pasties a pie? Are pasties a pie? Goliath did? Oh no, I can't get it up again. Where'd it go? All right. What was the answer? What's the final answer? I think I had way more yeses. It looked like almost all people were like yes. So, pasty is definitely a pie. Pasty is a pie. Prediction result is yes. Empanadas. Oh, empanadas are good. Most white people call them meat pies or something. Yeah, empanadas are definitely pies. I like empanadas. Actually, I think we're like down where I was from in Central America, we called them pastelitos. I think they're the same thing. I think a pastelito is the same thing as an empanada. I think. Let me take a look. Yeah. Pastelitos. We call them pastelitos. That's what we call them. But they're empanadas. I'll show you guys a picture of these things. These are delicious, by the way. So we called these things pastelitos, and this is exactly. They're empanadas. I guess that's probably what they call them in Mexico or something. I would imagine. But we called them pastelitos, and these are so delicious. It's like a little meat pie, and it's deep fried. Oh, it's like half the size of your hand usually. Oh, they're so good. Oh, it's delicious. It's very delicious. Is calzone a pie? It's a pizza pie folded in two. I think so. Yeah. Yeah. A pasty is a food made with root vegetables and spiced meat that are baked in food and folded clothes. Yeah, it's delicious. It's so delicious. It's so delicious. This is. Why are we looking at food? You guys are just sidetracking us here. Okay. Speaking of food, it's time for a cat strike. See, my cat knows, and I'm gonna get some more coffee.
What? You big baby?
So, let's get these guys some stuff going on here. All the cats are like upstairs or something. I only have 2 cats. All right, I'll be back. You gotta get his big tubby butt in there. There he goes. Oh, it's hard. It's really hard going in here. I got this big belly. Oh. A pasty is so a pie. Oh. Oh. Actually, I don't care how we classify it. I just want to eat one.
Squeaky, do not steal his treats. Those are oranges.
He's so trying to go in there. Oh, baby. Which do I prefer, the strict rules for everything approach in 3.5 edition D&D or the freeform DM's discretion of 5th edition D&D? I'm good with either type. I love 3.5 and I like 5th edition. I could go either way. You can make arguments for either. I could make an argument that 3.5 is easier because it defines everything and there are fewer discussions about how something works. I could say that 5th edition is easier because you don't have to memorize a bunch of rules and you can just make rulings as you go, you know, but then you have to maintain consistency over time. And I always forget the rulings I've made and my players have to remind me. So I could go either way. I enjoyed both systems. I think both are fun. I like the rules. I liked a lot of things about 3.5. I like things about 5th edition, you know, being rules light. But that said, I haven't had to make a ton of special rulings in 5th edition. The rules tend to cover most of the stuff that comes up, and it's not too big of a deal. Ed is like, I voted yes for pasty. What is a pasty? Okay, Ed, we're gonna educate you. Cornish Pasty. The best way to find out is to type in Cornish Pasty. This is a pasty, Ed. Oh gosh. Oh yes. Look at that. It's a pastry made out of usually shortening, succulent flaky crust usually. Inside is beef, rutabaga, onion. Sometimes they have carrots in there, but beef, rutabaga, and carrots and potatoes are actually, this is probably more customary. You have the beef, potatoes, there's rutabaga in there, and then carrots. Often served with a beef gravy. Also ketchup is very good on them as well. And this pastry is part of the best part. I always cut mine in half. I cut mine, so my way of eating these things, everybody's cutting these down cross section. That's not how I open them. I fold them open from the top to present both sides, and then I spread the filling equally among both sides, and then I spread the gravy or the ketchup out and mix it all up. I eat the filling first, and then the crust is left over, and then the crust is either saturated with a little bit of gravy or a little bit of ketchup, and then you eat the crust, and it is absolutely amazing. It is one of the best things in the world to eat. Yes. So good. Welcome to the DM Lair, where we spend a lot of time discussing what foods we're going to eat when we play D&D, and quite frankly, just in general. Yep. There you go, Ed. Gotta come to Michigan, Ed. We'll get you some pasties, dude. You'll love them. And if you don't, I'll just take them and eat them. And no hard feelings. All right. Yeah, the first 20 minutes was me eating a sandwich because my wife literally had just made me a sandwich and I was starting the stream. And then I told you guys, I was like, you guys, my wife made me a sandwich and it's just sitting here getting cold. And then everybody was like, Luke, just eat the sandwich. And so I was eating the sandwich. That was the stream for 20 minutes. I was doing it kind of like the Guy Fiero guy, you know, the diners, drive-ins and dives, where every single episode is like, you know, he's like talking, and then he tries it. And he's like, It's like it's always the same. It's like every place is like, oh, this is the best place in the world. It was a delicious sandwich. My wife can make sandwiches. Holy crap. My wife is just in general an awesome cook. I have like a weepy eye. Oops, I think I just gave you guys the middle finger. Sorry, that was unintentional. My eye is just kind of like got like, I don't know, it's all weepy or something. Look, somebody clips that. Look at, here's the clip. Luke flipped us off. Sorry. Okay. Questions. Let's keep going here. Oh, let me do a sleazy plug first. This one's gonna be for Layer Magazine. Yeah, woo! Every single month I publish Layer Magazine out to my patrons. It is a 5th edition compatible adventure. It has adventures in it, 5th edition adventures, 2 in every issue. Other things like traps, puzzles, NPCs, villains you can use in your games. The idea is to help reduce your prep time and improve your games. It comes with maps for all of the adventures, the image files to help you put them in virtual tabletops like Roll20 and Fantasy Grounds, makes your life a lot easier. You don't have to buy the maps separately because that's lame. You get them with the magazine. Comes out every single month. The July issue is going to drop next week. So there is a link right there in the chat if you'd like to check that out. It is very, very cool. There. Now we will continue answering questions. Oh, it's okay, Penguin Butt. You're fine. You're good. You're good. If your kids were like smearing poop on the walls again, we all understand. It's perfectly fine. I hope your kids have never done that before, by the way. It's not fun. Oh, that's well, you Penguin Butt, do what you gotta do. We're good here. I mean, I love it when you're here. But it is not a condition of employment to be here. If you got to take care of family stuff, you knock yourself out. Figuratively speaking. I'm the Dark Lord of my own domain of dread. That is the kitchen. I know how to cook some stuff. I know how to cook. I know how to cook some stuff, and I think it's delicious, but I have cooked some things for my wife, and she does not share the same opinion of my food, apparently. So really the only thing that I cook now that I'm probably allowed to cook when she's here is every Sunday morning almost we have Sunday morning breakfast, which is basically homemade hash, like, you know, corned beef hash type of thing, homemade hash with bacon and eggs. And that is the one thing that she allows me to cook. I'm actually like contractually required to cook it every single Sunday morning. Yeah. So, but other than that, I'm not really allowed to cook. Stairs are the most dangerous things to Luke's mods. They're my mod's secret weaknesses. Wait, did your kid fall down the stairs? Holy crap, is that what happened? I don't know what's going on here. I hope not. Yeah, Ed Ed had an incident with stairs. Penguin Butt, I think you had an incident with stairs before. A couple of them or something. Yeah, stairs. I think we need to have a rule for all my moderators that you're not allowed to use stairs. Like walking up and down stairs, I think should just be like, you know, yeah, you can't do that if you're a moderator. Oh, your foot will be healed next Wednesday? Nice. This is why not all of us fans want to be Luke's mods. Those swords come with vulnerability to stairs. Yes, exactly. It's like you get a power up, you get like a sword, a magical sword and stuff, but like you also have a vulnerability that goes into your stat block, and it's called stairs. It's very bad. Okay, let's hit a question here. My party is about to enter the time-sensitive, trap-filled boss dungeon, severely injured. Well, they're screwed. Due to poor decision-making in their last session. Giving them healing out of nowhere seems cheesy. It's very cheesy. It breaks, what is it called? Your suspension of disbelief is gone. Verisimilitude is gone. Everything is gone. If they just get magical healing out of nowhere, like, you might as well just burn your game to the ground. They will never believe anything anymore. They're just like, oh, we were going into a hopeless situation and we all got magically healed. Like, the divine light came down from on above and we all got healed. It was amazing. They will never fear anything in your game world ever again, or at least they shouldn't, because they're just going to be like, yeah, we just got magical healing because we needed it out of nowhere. Woo! Yeah, don't do that. That's not a good idea. You're right. It's not only cheesy, but it's like burning your game down. In my opinion, I would never do that. But letting them just wipe because of how hard the dungeon is seems unfair. It's not unfair. It's not unfair. Who made the decision to go into the dungeon severely injured? Players, right? Players are the ones who made that decision. They were severely injured and they decided to do it. They made the decision. I'm assuming you didn't force them to do it. I'm assuming you didn't push them in there. I'm assuming that you didn't give them no choice. They made the choice. They might have known, even if there was a ticking clock, they still had a choice. They always had a choice. And instead of resting, instead of getting patched up before going into the dungeon, they decided to go into it severely injured. They made that choice. You need to stick to your guns, in my opinion. Like, if you as a dungeon master screw up, backing off and changing things, okay, I get it. I've done that before. But when the game world is a certain way, if the dungeon is a certain way, and that is the reality of the world, and your players make a critical error, a critical mistake, they should suffer the consequences of that decision. To do otherwise is to have no consequences in your game. To have your game basically just be a, whatever you do, don't worry, you're going to succeed. You're going to be successful. No matter what condition you're in, no matter how bad of a decision you make, don't worry, guys. I got your back. I'm in control. As the dungeon master, I'm going to work behind the scenes to just make everything smooth out. So your choices are meaningless. Your choices don't really mean anything. You can't really have good choices or bad choices because I'm going to be behind the scenes, this omnipotent dungeon master, just kind of smoothing the road out, making sure everything goes well for you. And you're going to win whether you deserve it or not, whether you made a good choice or not, whether the dice go poorly or well in your favor, you're going to win because I'm going to make sure you win. And that's going to be the way things work around here. When you do that, you are stealing agency from your players as surely as if you were to just straight up control their characters, because you are making their decisions and choices meaningless and have no consequences in the game world. So that is not something I suggest or recommend. If they make a bad choice, then the world is the world. Things are the way they are, and you need to play, in my opinion, play things through straight and see what happens. If they all wipe and die, well, they made a bad choice and they all wiped and died. Oh, roll up new characters. Let's keep on going. Maybe the next party will, not go in there severely drained of resources and injured. Every single TPK that has happened in my games has been a result of the players making a bad decision. Every single one of them. Every single one. My Hand of Light group, well, actually, my Hand of Light group who TPK'd and then became Manus Invictus, they made a bad decision. That video is on my YouTube channel. My Sword Coast Guard group made a bad decision and TPK'd. That video is on my YouTube channel. My Youngling group made a very bad decision. They TPK'd. That video is on my YouTube channel. I've had 3 TPKs in 5th edition. Every single one has been a result of my players making a bad decision. It wasn't fair or unfair. The world is what it is. The dungeon, the boss, the monsters, they are what they are. If you work behind the scenes and change things so that your players just always seem to come out and win, that's just ripping away their agency. You're tearing away the meaning from their choices, and everything they do becomes meaningless because you're just going to make things work out for them. That is a game that I would never want to play in. I want there to be consequences. I want to know that I might actually die if I do something stupid, or if the dice just go horribly against me, or whatever. That makes the game more exciting and meaningful to me. If you take away those consequences, if you take away meaning from my choices, then I'm just reading a book. You're writing, I suppose. I don't know. Or I'm just sitting in the seat making it warm. So my recommendation is to simply play the dungeon the way it's written and see what happens. If your players are wise or smart, they might realize they're way in over their heads and they might just book it and leave. And then you said that there was a time constraint, a ticking clock, then they fail. Whatever bad thing was going to happen happens, and they fail that adventure. And then you think about what the consequences are for that bad thing having happened, because they had to retreat from the dungeon because they weren't ready for it. And then guess what? That becomes the next adventure. That's the next adventure they go on. After they go lick their wounds, after they get healed up, they figure out, oh, we blew it. We were too late. And now things have gotten more complicated and this is going on. And holy crap, now we got to go take care of this, which is worse because we made a bad decision. That is a living, breathing game world that I want to play in. I don't want the game world where the dungeon master is just behind the scenes making everything work out for me. That's not a fun game for me. That's a meaningless game for me. I think one is definitely superior to the other. So that is my suggestion. That's how I would do that. Let's get this one down. About 1 hour. There we go. Mommy, what's my mommy doing? Mommy just wants attention. And they might TPK too. They might all die. But you know what? There are so many times where my players get in way over their heads and I'm just like, this doesn't look good. And they somehow figure it out. Look at I just ran a Curse of Strahd game this last Sunday. It's on my second YouTube channel, the DM Lair streams. Link in the chat for you guys. We just ran a game session and it was looking really bad. Really, really bad. And my players were close to biting it. And here's what happened. Here's why. Here's what they did. They actually made a very bad decision. They made a very bad decision in my Curse of Strahd game 2 sessions ago, actually. They decided to take a long rest in the middle of a dungeon. And behind the scenes, here's what happened. Unbeknownst to them, there was an enemy. Well, they actually knew this. There was an enemy that they had defeated, and they tied up this enemy. It was a spirit naga. Was it I think it was a spirit naga. It was one of the nagas. It was a pretty rough one. It was like a CR8 or something. Death naga, spirit naga. It was something like that. Dark naga. I forget which one. I don't know. There were a few nagas. It was one of the nagas. It was like a CR8 or something. They had defeated it and then tied it up previously. And then they went up and they took a long rest. Well, guess what happened over the course of a long rest? The spirit naga recovered hit points, woke up, untied herself, and then she also took a long rest. And then since they were all in a wizard's tower, she was in constant communication, or the wizard was able to communicate to her, and the wizard was scrying his wizard tower the whole time. He knew what was going on, and he was hoping that his defenses would take out the players as they made their way through it. So the wizard basically told the spirit naga, okay, just chill out, don't attack them or anything, because they're about to go into the 3rd level. And the 3rd level is full of automatons that are going to animate and attack them at some point. So you hold back, and as soon as the automatons animate and attack them, I want you to come in from the behind and start attacking them and smoking them. And that's what happened. And so they found themselves fighting a handful of, you know what, actually let's calculate let's you know what we're gonna do? I'm gonna show you how deadly this was, and my players actually won. So we're gonna go to D&D Beyond, and I'm gonna show you exactly what the encounter was. Goodbye. And come on, baby, you can do it. So they were, what level are they? They're level 6. So there were 5 level 6 characters. Let's find out what naga it was. It was a spirit naga. Yep. So there was a spirit naga. And then there was what were those things? Defender. Stone defender. There were 2 of these. And then there were, what are those other cannons called? A bolter. Steel bolter, oaken bolter. There we go. There were 2 of these. This is what they fought, you guys. You can't see this super well. Hold on a second. The text over there. This is what they fought. Right here. They were level 6. Their deadly threshold was 17,000. Do you see that? They fought an encounter that was at over twice their deadly threshold. This is what they had to fight. This is what they fought. And guess what? They won. Now, one of the players went down to 0 hit points twice. Another one went down to 0 hit points once. But they figured it out. Now, this is in part because my players are very good players and they're pretty good at combat. It's also in part because at least a couple of them are pretty good min-maxers and have built pretty powerful characters as well. Not all of them, but some of them are. At least 2 of them have pretty good builds, I would say. But this is what they fought, and they won. Now, before it was going to be the Spirit Naga, they were going to run into this right here, and it was going to be, it was still deadly. It was still deadly, but not quite as much. So if they didn't have that Spirit Naga because they took a long rest, they would have fought this. But because they took the long rest, they ended up running into the Spirit Naga as well. And that was the consequence of them taking a long rest. Now, it's interesting because my players, when they were taking this long rest, and then it went successfully, a couple of my players were like, I can't believe that worked. I can't believe we actually took a long rest and nothing happened. And one of my players, Kevin, was like, yeah, I was so expecting something to happen. He mentioned a few times, he's like, I can't believe that happened. I can't believe we long rested in the dungeon and there were no consequence. Like nothing attacked us, nothing happened. You know what I mean? There was a consequence though. Something did happen because as soon as they said they were going to take a long rest, Luke's brain started spinning. All right, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? What's going to happen? What would the wizard do who's been observing them the whole time? Well, he knows they're about to go into this level with all these automatons. Okay. The Spirit Naga is still alive and she's going to get a full rest and she'll be at full resources because if the players are long resting, guess what? My Spirit Naga is going to long rest too and get all of her resources back. Okay, so if I do nothing during the long rest, wait for them to come into the 3rd level, the automatons animate, my Spirit Naga is at full resources, she can get them in the behind, right, where they're not expecting something to come at them. Yeah, this could be really good. And so that was my plan. That was their consequence for taking a long rest in the dungeon. It wasn't that there were no consequences. There was definitely a consequence. The battle got twice as hard. There was also one of my players. So that Spirit Naga, by the way, when it came up, it cast Dominate Person on Meridon, who is a barbarian. And he does crap tons of damage. He does about 50 points of damage per round. He is a maniac DPSer. It's great. He just spews out DPS. He got dominated. The Spirit Naga told Meridon to kill the other players. And so Meridon was about to go start chopping them to pieces with his axe. If that had happened, it would have been a TPK for sure. They would have just been like gutted and dead. However, one of my other players, Kevin, who plays Stefan, he has a spell called Calm Emotions. And it literally says in there that it suppresses the charmed condition. And so my ruling is that Dominate Person charms you and then allows the person to control you. And so my ruling was that suppresses that Dominate Person. As long as he's concentrating on it, it suppresses that spell. And so Meridon was actually able to contribute to the combat. That was clutch. If that wouldn't have worked, they would all be rolling up new characters right now, probably. But that's an example of how players can use their creativity and come out of situations you think are absolutely hopeless. Absolutely hopeless. But here's the other thing. They were in that situation with that crazy encounter because of their decision. It was their decision to long rest in a dungeon. And that was a bad decision, in my opinion. But they were really beat up too. But not only that, they were using lots of resources. They were throwing, one of my players was counterspelling all the time, constantly. he was blowing through all of his resources. And then they were out of resources. That's because they probably weren't managing resources very well, in my opinion. But not everybody needed a long rest, but the wizard really wanted a long rest because he was blowing his resources. I don't know about the other ones. I don't know if everybody needed a long rest, but the wizard definitely wanted one because he was just blowing his spell slots. I don't know how everybody else was sitting. But anyway, yeah, they long rested and they had a consequence. So that's what happened. So if they had TPK'd, I mean, it would have been like, okay, fine. That's what happened. You long rested in the dungeon and you got enemies you left alive came up and attacked you while you were fighting the other ones. That's how one of my groups TPK'd. They left people alive behind them. Then they ran into an encounter here. And then the other encounter caught up with them and they got sandwiched between two encounters. They should have taken care of the first encounter. You can't just use turn undead on a pack of undead, watch them run away, continue on, and then figure nothing will happen. Like, the undead were being controlled by some intelligent creatures. As soon as the effect wore off, they started following them. They made a bad decision, and that group paid for it with their lives. Yeah, it's Curse of Strahd. The irony, though, is that none of my players were expecting to fight in this wizard's tower. Like, I don't know why that expectation was there. Their intention was to just talk to the wizard. But that doesn't mean the wizard who has lost his mind is going to have the same expectations. The wizard thought they were agents of Strahd come to kill him. And so he wanted to make sure that didn't happen. So he's like, no, you're going to fight my tower before you get to me. He had lost his mind. So my players had an expectation that they wouldn't have to fight anything, and they ended up fighting a lot of stuff in there. It was a homebrewed wizard tower as well. It wasn't what was presented in Curse of Strahd. The wizard by himself wandering the mountains. They would have killed him in one round. Are you kidding me? They would have, like, the wizard in Curse of Strahd is 𝐑𝐄𝐿 himself. By the way, the stab block is so underwhelming for being 𝐑𝐄𝐿. It's like a CR12 Archmage. Do you know how fast a CR12 Archmage all by himself, with no minions, with no buddies or anything, is going to die? That. Unless he gets that spell off, but I think my level 6 group would have easily killed him if they wanted to. Using the stab block that wizards gave us in Curse of Strahd, I don't think 𝐑𝐄𝐿 stood a chance. Action economy was against him, like hardcore, and then the players being able to do the DPS they have, the spells they have, their own intelligence and craftiness. No, he would have just gotten his butt smoked. No way. And it would have been a huge letdown too, because when my players did end up getting to the mage and they were talking with him, he was insane. So he asked them for soup. He was like, you're spies of Strahd, only spies of Strahd would like come and not give me soup or something. I don't know. It was something like that. And then one of the players offered him soup and it worked. He rolled really high on a check and stuff, and I rolled really low, and the wizard believed it was soup, and he thought it was the best soup in the world, and it was actually horribly brewed beer. And the wizard was like, oh, you must be good guys then, because you brought me soup, and it's the most delicious soup ever. The wizard is mad. So they didn't end up fighting him. He might potentially be an ally for them, except he's crazy. But he doesn't like Strahd, so there's always that hope. But the stat block, I gave 𝐑𝐄𝐿 like a bunch of like 4 different like minions to go, not real minions, like, but bad guys along with them, because he would have gotten his butt smoked in like one round without people to help him out. So if my players ever do actually fight 𝐑𝐄𝐿, I'm probably gonna have to do some sort of custom homebrew stat block, because using Archmage is just so underwhelming for like one of the most powerful wizards in like the realms. It's like fighting Elminster and killing him in one round, and you're just like, that would be so underwhelming. Well, that's what I was gonna say. My players were all stoked. Once they were talking to the wizard and they found out that he was Mordenkainen, they were like, oh my gosh, this is Mordenkainen himself. And then one of the players was like, yeah, there's no way we could fight this guy. He would just obliterate us. There's no way we could have won against Mordenkainen. Holy crap. Like, you know what I mean? But what they don't know is that the stat block that's given in Curse of Strahd module is pathetic. And they probably would have easily won against him. Yes, but he doesn't have Meteor Swarm. He doesn't even have that spell. They literally, what did they tell you? Hold on a second. Let's look at the spells they give him. He would have totally died. Let's go over here and take a look at Curse of Strahd module. Let's actually look at what they had given him. It was pathetic. All right, so it is in lands of Barovia, areas of Barovia. Where is this? Areas of Barovia. It's M. There we go. Okay, it's an Archmage. It's an Archmage. Only it tells you, where does it tell you? It has a different list of spells than the Archmage. Okay, so he's already used some spells even. You guys, he's already used spells. He's already used up some spells, making this easier. And he doesn't even have Meteor Swarm. It's not even on here. Like, you have Time Stop, Mind Blank, Teleport. Where's Meteor Swarm? It's not even on here. Like, some of the most highest powered spells that you would want to have a wizard cast to wipe somebody out is not even on here, you know? So yeah, you would definitely power word kill. Exactly. All of these really powerful spells that you would expect somebody to have, none of it. Look at this, you guys, I'm not even kidding you. Armor class 15, easiest thing in the world to hit, even at level 6, 99 hit points. You guys, if my players had all focused fire on him, they would have killed him in 1 round. No joke. If they had rolled really well in their initiative, which they usually do, and this guy's initiative modifier sucks, they would have dropped him in 1 round probably. I'm not joking. It would have been the most underwhelming fight of their lives against one of the greatest wizards in all legend. So yeah, not good. Not a good boss fight. So I'm happy they didn't fight him. I was hoping they wouldn't fight him. I wanted them to talk to him so that I could, you know, unveil the whole plot point of he could potentially be an ally. That was my hope. I didn't know that would happen. You can never count on that stuff, but that was my hope. Mr. Crinkle, what's up, dude? Thank you for the tier 1 sub. Appreciate that, man. Ooh, I'm in the yellow now. Oh, look at that. I'm down to like 1/3 health. You guys are gonna kill me. Maybe, we shall see. Remember, if you defeat 5 bosses tonight, we're doing a giveaway. We're gonna give away a D&D book of the winner's choice. I will sign it and ship it to you. If you live outside the US in some crazy place where shipping is super expensive, then I will give you some back issues of Layer magazine because yeah, shipping is expensive. But 5 bosses, we do a giveaway tonight. Luke is now bloodied. Yes, I'm bloodied. All right, let's look at some more questions here. Where is that? Where was that question? Wow. Okay. We spent like a half an hour on that question. How to deal with a player using previous knowledge of a campaign to make choices. I have spoken to them multiple times. Final warning. Stop doing it, dude. I don't know. You have 2 choices. You have 2 choices. Literally have 2 choices. You've spoken with them. They apparently don't care because they're keeping on doing it. They just keep on doing it. Which means that you've spoken to them multiple times and they're just like, I'm gonna keep doing it. Okay, you have 2 choices before you. And the guiding factor is, how game breaking is this for you? How much of a deal breaker is this for you? Because really at this point, you can do one of 2 things. accept that they're going to keep doing it and there's nothing you can do about it. Or two, you can kick them out of the game. But what are you going to do? You've already tried problem resolving. You've already talked with them and asked them to stop. I'm assuming you've talked with them, made it clear what they're doing, explained how it's negatively affecting the game, and then asked them to stop doing that thing. I'm assuming you've done that. If you've already done that multiple times and they keep on doing it, you really have to ask yourself, am I going to continue to put up with it? Which is an option. Not everything is a deal breaker. Not every sort of bad behavior is a deal breaker that warrants being kicked out of a game. Sometimes things are just annoying and they're not optimal, but it's not worth kicking somebody out. That is a thing. But if you feel that that's worth a kicking out, then that's really your only choice at that point. You either put up with it or you kick them out. You got two choices. It's up to you to decide which one makes the most sense for you. Oh, Ed, thank you for the 5 tier 1 subs, my dude. Appreciate that. And the old DM, 5 tier 1 subs. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. And the old DM is now our boss. And so we're going to see how long the old DM can last up there before people kill him. You'd kickstart the killing of the first boss? Yes, thank you, Ed. Got to get the blood flowing around here. Would Ed counter attack against this old DM movement? All right. I've been having a feeling that, in short, I've been a terrible DM, either railroading them or doing stupid things with their backgrounds. They keep saying that they love everything that I do, but my mind keeps telling me that they lied to me to not feel bad. Double question: how do I unveil their lies, or how do I keep out those thoughts? All right, so you could just be suffering from self-doubt, you know, where you could be potentially doing a great job, and you just constantly are doubting yourself, and you just feel insecure in your abilities, you know, for whatever reason. So that's the thing. You could be doing just fine, but you can't see that. You guys, sometimes we're our own worst enemies. Sometimes we are our own worst enemies. We might dude, I've known people who were, just to give you an example, who were extremely attractive people, and yet they thought they were ugly. We don't always understand. Like, sometimes we believe lies about ourselves. We believe lies about what we do. We believe lies about things, you know, and we're our own worst enemies. So first of all, one possibility is that you are doing just fine, and that you just don't believe it and you can't see it and you're doubting yourself. So that's one possibility. So keep that in mind. The second thing is that it is also a possibility that you're not doing a good job, and that your players just they don't want to make you feel bad, and so they're telling you that it's okay. You know, that is a thing. People do that. Shoot, I've done that before. You know, I don't want to hurt the guy's feelings, you know? Of course I'm going to say I had fun, you know? But here is how you unveil the truth. This is the way to do it. You use your eyes. You use your observations. That's how you do it. You observe your players when they're playing the game. How are they behaving? How are they acting? Are they smiling? Are they laughing? Are they engaged? Are they paying attention? Do they look like they're having fun? Do your players keep on coming back to the game week after week? Are your players participating? Are they paying attention? Or are they on their phones, doing stuff on their phones constantly that has nothing to do with D&D? Now, people use electronics to look at stuff on D&D Beyond and look up stuff for their character sheets. That's a thing. But you can usually tell when they're engaged and paying attention and when they are distracted and bored. Are they in their chairs falling asleep during the game? Are they distracted by stuff? Are they not paying attention? Like, observe, use your eyes. When you see people are listening, they're engaged, they're laughing, they're joking around with each other, you know, and you can see, you can observe that excitement and that attention, and they keep coming back, and they don't constantly have excuses why they can't make a game session. You know they're having fun, and you know that they're enjoying the game to a certain degree, for sure. Because that sort of stuff, people, it's easy when asked if you're having fun, to say, yeah, I'm having fun, and to put on a smile and stuff. It is far more difficult to keep up that facade over the course of a 4-hour game session. It is an amazingly dedicated actor who keeps up the facade pretending to have fun over an entire 4-hour game session. However, most people are capable of lying over the course of like a couple seconds. Yeah, I had fun. Anybody can do that and lie to you. So my suggestion is to observe them, watch their body language, watch their faces and stuff. That's where you're going to find the truth, is through watching and observing them. This is what I do when I'm running my games. I'm constantly looking at my players and seeing like, okay, who's engaged, who's laughing, who's participating, who seems to not be having fun, you know? And I have a few players where I'm like, I don't know how much fun they're having, you know what I mean? And so I keep an eye on them, you know, and every time they laugh or engage or joke or something, I'm like, okay, that's a positive indicator. Okay, I like that, you know? So observation is probably one of the best ways to get to it. The other thing you can do is do an anonymous survey, something through SurveyMonkey. Anonymous surveys, people are going to feel a little bit more free to express their thoughts to you because their name isn't attached to it, and they feel, because of the anonymity, that they're, you know, that they're not maybe going to hurt your feelings and stuff, you know. But when somebody asks after, especially during a game session face to face, hey, did you guys have fun? That's a bad question. Every time a dungeon master asks that question, I'm just like, that's a bad question to ask, because most players are going to say, yeah, we had fun, even if they didn't. It's the socially acceptable thing to do. So it's a meaningless question. I don't think I ever ask my players that. It might slip out from time to time, but I don't ask my players if they had fun. It's a meaningless question. I observe my players, and I do surveys every so often to get their thoughts on the game and stuff too. But it's a meaningless question to say, did you guys have fun? Because they'll lie to you if they didn't. But watch them. It's hard to lie for 4 hours through your body language. All right, we're gonna get that guy. That's like 1 hour. Okay, so questions. If you do want, there actually are 3 questions you can ask to your players at the end of a game session that will help you get good feedback, because did you have fun is not good feedback. So the first thing you can do, what am I doing in the game that you enjoy that I should keep on doing? And then people give you feedback. This is great. This tells you what they like. This tells you what they enjoy. That's a great question. Open-ended, they give you specific examples, you take notes. Great. This is what my players like. I keep doing these things. Okay. What is something that I do in the game that you dislike that we should stop doing? What do you dislike that we should stop doing? It's just, what are we doing that you dislike and we should stop doing? It's not like, what am I doing wrong? Don't make it personal. Make it vague. Make it like very like, you know, in general. That way they're not going to feel like if they give you an answer that they're attacking you. So what is something we do in the game that you dislike that we should stop doing? They go around, they give you some input, you take notes. All right. Third question. What is something that we're not doing currently that we could start doing that would improve the game? And then you're going to get some feedback. Go around, people give you some suggestions. So it's keep doing, stop doing, start doing. Those are the 3 questions. That will give you, they're all very open-ended. You will get specific examples from your players. Very good information there. And that will give you some very solid guidelines on things that you should keep doing because they love it, things you should consider stopping because they don't like it. Just bear in mind that not all players like or dislike all things. So there might be one player that's like, we should stop having combat encounters. And then 3 of the other players are like, whoa, no, I love combat. So take everything with a grain of salt and use your brain, right? But it'll give you some really good feedback. And then it'll give you suggestions for things that you could start that you never considered that might be tons of fun. So lots of good information you can get from those 3 simple questions. And you can do that at the end of a game session if you want. I wouldn't do it at the beginning necessarily. I would do it at the end But stop the game early. If you normally go for 4 hours, stop after 3.5 hours. Give yourself a half an hour at least to have that discussion. Go around the game table, everybody talks, gives their opinions and stuff. You take notes, right? And then afterwards, you go use your brain, read and think and consider and make some tweaks. You don't have to do a massive overhaul. Don't do a massive overhaul based on their feedback. Pick 2 things that you think would be the most impactful, that could improve the game the most. And those are your action items. Those are the 2 things that you implement in the next few games to see how things improve. Okay? Don't bite off more than you can chew all in one go. Pick 2 actionable things that you can start doing that's going to improve your game. And pick the 2 things you think will have the most effect as well. That way you're going to be applying the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule, right? Of, 20% of effort produces 80% of results. And then you're using your time wisely as you try to improve your game. So that is something you can do as well that will be very effective to help you improve your game. Dan Jammin, hello, what's up, dude? Should you say, please give me 1 or 2 things, Luke? Not necessarily. I would leave it open-ended. Let them give you as much feedback as they want and just take notes. Make sure though that everybody at the game table has an opportunity to talk and speak and give you their input. Make space for that. That means you're gonna have 5 players and 3 are gonna talk their faces off. You need to give the other 2 players who are quiet space to talk, which literally means telling the other ones to take a break for a second and then specifically saying, hey, John and Karen, what are your thoughts? What do you think about these things? If people are being quiet, you're going to need to call them by name and ask them the specific question to get their thoughts. So make sure you're drawing that information out as well. And that's important too. Otherwise, you're going to get drowned out by the talkative players, and the quiet ones either can't get a word in or they feel uncomfortable talking. But a lot of people, when you directly address them so that other people will stop talking for a second, then you'll get some information from them. All right, sweet. That was a great question, Still Stellar. Wonderful question. My players ended the last session about to start a very difficult encounter. Those are good ways. They're going to be thinking about that encounter the whole week or 2 weeks, and they're just like, oh, we got a beast of an encounter ready to go. A lot of times I love ending game sessions where they come into a room, they get the description, they see all the bad guys, and then they do some talking maybe, but then eventually there's a combat that's going to break out, and it's clear. I'll be like, and they draw their weapons and they begin charging. The wizard in the back begins casting a spell, and we will pick this up next game session. That is the perfect way to end a game session. It's a cliffhanger ending, obviously, but you get the suspense and the drama high, and then you're like, all right, and we're gonna end our game session right there. And and then if there is a collective, if all of your players collectively do that, you know you got them, and you delivered that beautifully. So that's a great way to end a game session. That's not what your question is, but it's a side comment. But one of the players moved and will no longer be playing. Now I'm worried the encounter will be a TPK. Why? Their PC is literally in the room still. Somebody else plays their PC. Problem solved. You're done. Hey guys, Jim Bob moved to Arizona. I know. Why would you move to Arizona? Okay, sorry, Zach. Jim Bob moved to Arizona. He's not going to be here anymore. But guess what? I have a player character sheet right here. Who wants to play Jim Bob's character until the adventure is over, and then he'll probably wander his ways or something. Who wants to play 2 characters? you'll probably get a volunteer. I love playing 2 characters when I'm a player. You want to know why? Because I'm bored otherwise. Because there's nothing to do. I'm just like one character. I'm used to being a dungeon master. I'm used to doing lots of stuff in the game, and my brain's always like. And now I got one character. Oh, this is so boring. This is the most boring thing in the world. One character. You give me 2 characters, and now I'm starting to cook. Now I got something to keep me occupied during the game. You know. So yeah, get a volunteer to run the character sheet. That's the solution, and then you have no problems whatsoever. The party has already seen the monsters and are surrounded. Yep. How should I handle changing the encounter? You don't need to. Character sheet. Somebody else runs it. To bring the encounter to a more realistic difficulty level. I think I gave you the solution. Mr. Gork says, no, seriously, why would you move to Arizona? Arizona is a lovely place to live. Zach, aren't you moving to Texas though? I swear you said you were moving to Texas. Yeah, I do. I don't have anything in my eye. It's just like weeping. Like I took my contacts out, and now my left eye is just all like weepy. It's just, I don't know. There's nothing wrong with it. I don't have anything in my eye, but it's just like doing stupid stuff today. So nothing I can do about it. Sounds like a personal problem. It might be. Yeah. I have been a player in games where I've had fun, but most of the time I just want to be a dungeon master. But that's the thing. Yeah, you have to. Yeah. If I'm in Texas and I don't have much room to talk. Oh, about being like a heat furnace or something? All right, here we go. Due to some players leaving and another player dying. Oh man, that sucks. My group now exists out of all new characters. Wait. Okay, group with new characters. Or group with new players. Coffee alert, thank you. Hot pink, it's in hot pink. Would the actions of the old party still have direct consequences for the new party? Only if there are direct ties. If the old party is gone and the new party arrives and they have literally no connection to the old party, then the only sorts you would not have things. Some things would have direct consequences, some things would not. Essentially, if something requires a tie to the old party to have a consequence, then there would be no consequence to the new party. However, if the actions of the old party did something in the game world as a whole that was negative or had a consequence, that still might apply to the new party. For instance, if a bad guy escaped and then was looking to get revenge against the old party, well, once the old party's dead, that bad guy doesn't need to get revenge. They're already dead. That bad guy is not going to come after the new party. He doesn't know them. There's no connection. However, let's say the old party let loose a titan across the world, woke up a titan that is now rampaging across the world, and then the old party dies. New party comes along. Well, that titan is still rampaging across the world. It still might be a plot hook, something that those players could go do and stop that titan. So that sort of thing could still have a consequence to the party. So it really just depends on the specific consequence or the specific thing that we're dealing with, whether it would still apply to the new party or not. Well, yeah, my cats are like mostly off camera. Yeah, they can't even. You guys, why are you off camera? I have 3 cats. There are 2 down here, and then one's way over there. Orange is licking himself. All right, let's do a cat strike. All right, here we go. We are doing the cat strike with the cat crack. It's catnip, folks. Calm down. Oh, I have to get their toys. All right. I have the happy carrot and the banana. We will now apply legal addictive substances to these two toys. Squeaky, he's like, I need that. I need it. I need it. I need it. I know you do, buddy. I'm gonna get the carrot all hopped up. All right. We have applied the substances. That's the wrong camera. There we go. And now, please enjoy my cat rolling around on the floor. I'm gonna go bio and get some coffee. Yeah. He's got to stay on camera. He's so adorable. I'm gonna explode. I know. Squeaky. He just bolted off camera. All right, let's get back to this. I'm gonna see if there are any redemptions. Do we have any redemptions? Holy crap, we do have a bunch of redemptions. We should get through these. There are some more questions. We'll keep doing questions, but I'm gonna hit some of these redemptions here. So we did the cat trip too, so that one's done. Thank you, mods. Appreciate that. Oh, they're all disappearing now. Trash talk the merch. All right, is Danny here? Hey guys, do you want to get some t-shirts that say the DM layer on them? Do you want to be the guy walking around as a walking billboard to advertise my YouTube channel, to advertise my business? Do you want to? It's like wearing Under Armour. Yeah, you could be the cool kid wearing the Nike shirt and shoes You're just a walking billboard. Do you want to be a walking billboard for the DM layer? If so, click that link right there and you can go buy some premium DM layer merch. You can get t-shirts. You can get the most comfortable hoodies you've ever found in the world. You can get coffee mugs that are designed very poorly and lots of other assorted merchandise at the link right there. It is very, very beautiful. You guys should go definitely check it out. It'll be the worst purchase you ever make. Here we go. There's some trash talk right there. Oh, whoops. Oh, crap. Can you find that? I clicked the rant. I clicked the wrong one. Moderators, can you... What was the rant about? Somebody cleared the trash talk. Why? It's all getting cleared. What was the rant about? Things are getting... It doesn't work well when multiple people are clicking the redemptions because somebody clicks it as complete and then it's gone, and then I click like a second later because I was gonna hit it, and then I click a different one. It wasn't supposed to get cleared, so that's the problem. What was the rant though? Okay, cool, I got you. What was? Yeah, I think I accidentally clicked the wrong one. I probably clicked the wrong one. That's probably my fault. What was the rant about though? Worst purchase ever. Yeah. Featureless planes for combat. Oh gosh. Yes. Okay. I'll try to do my rant here. Hey! You want to have the worst combat in the world? You want to have your players be bored out of their minds? How about putting them in an empty room? Or just throw the battle grid down on the map and that's it. There are no walls, doors, furniture. There are no trees. There are no holes, ravines, nothing. It's just a flat map. Flat map with minis on it. Worst combat in the world. Like, come on. Really? That's the best you got? That's part of your game prep? Just a flat map on there? You can't draw some lines? You can't even draw some lines, put some furniture in there, put some trees, some tree trunks, some fallen trees, put some rocks on there? Like, really? You can't do that? Yeah. Come on. Your players deserve better than that. I don't know. I don't think that was a very good rant. It is absolutely horrible, though. It's like the stupidest thing you could possibly do. Like, you gotta have terrain. It is part of a combat. Combat is so uninteresting when you don't have stuff on the map. You gotta draw something on there. Gotta draw something on there. If you're playing in person, it's easy because you just literally have a dry erase marker and you draw some stuff. And you're like, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. We're good to go. In Roll20, you can kind of do the same thing. You can just draw stuff on it. It doesn't look as pretty, though, as a pre-made map, which is the problem. It's actually, maps are way easier in person, in my opinion, than Roll20. No invisible walls and doors. Oh, yeah, the walls and doors and furniture, everything's invisible. Yeah, everything's invisible. And so they're walking around and they're tripping over it and they're falling and stuff and hurting themselves. Yeah, that's perfect. No cover, no obstacles, nothing. Just empty flatness. Yeah, that's the way to do it. Penguin Butt has resubscribed to Prime. 12 months. Oh, this is your 1-year anniversary with us, Penguin Butt. Well, happy birthday. Happy anniversary, birthday or something. We're gonna give you a special treat. Penguin Butt, we're gonna give you a special treat. For your loyalty and being an awesome moderator and employee, contributor, all the awesome stuff you do, we're gonna give you a birthday gift today. 3 days from now, we are gonna give you the awesome opportunity to be a dungeon master on stream with hundreds of people watching you live with me as a player and some of my other moderators as players. We're gonna put you in front of the big cameras to run the game with eyeballs all on you, waiting in anticipation for awesomeness. And if it flops and it fails, well, happy birthday. Penguin Butt is literally running a game for us next Tuesday. She's gonna be running a D&D game for us on stream here. So it's a level 19 game, you guys. We're all gonna be level 19 characters. Oh, it's beautiful. I'm playing one PC. I haven't even made the PC yet. I have to do that at some point. It's just a rogue. It's a rogue, so it's not like it's gonna be hard. I always play rogues. Almost always. Rogues are just so much fun. I can play 2 so I'm not bored. No, I would not do that to you. Actually, at level 19, playing 2 characters that I just make up fresh would be pretty challenging. Probably, because you have a lot of stuff you can do at level 19. Okay, I have to talk in character. Wizard, what level makes the best for one-shots? I like one-shots at level 5 or 6. And here are my reasonings. You have access to 3rd level spells, which are very powerful and very nice. However, they are not 4th level spells, because at 4th level, the spells become much more powerful and game altering, and can be far harder to design a one-shot for. However, 3rd level spells aren't quite that bad yet. The other thing that happens around 5th or 6th level is that player characters have enough hit points to take a few hits, and they're not quite as squishy, so things aren't as swingy around that level. So what you're generally gonna find is that when intelligent wizards who use their brains run one-shots, they generally do so around 5th or 6th level. That's just my preference. 5th or 6th level is the sweet spot for me for one-shots, in all honesty, because it makes the reasons I just discussed makes it a lot easier. It's easier to design the adventure. The players have access to cool stuff, but not like the crazy cool stuff that makes it harder to design an adventure. Yeah, so there are lots of benefits for that level range, in my opinion, if you're just gonna do a one-shot. Level 19 would not be my first choice for a one-shot. But Penguin Butt kind of got backed into a corner because the way we determined what level it was going to be basically is, I think it was Zack. We in one of our live streams, we were joking about a penguin monster, like a really high level penguin monster. And we were just joking about it and talking about it. It was on a stream or it was in the patron layer. I can't remember which one, but we were talking about it. And then Zack created a stat block for it. And it was like a CR 21 or 25 or something. I can't remember. It was a really powerful monster. It was the Pengu monster or something. I don't know. But he statted it out. And then we were talking and we were like, you know what'd be really cool? What if Penguin Butt actually ran a one-shot with that monster as the boss? And that's the game. You know, like that's the whole idea or whatever. And so she was kind of backed into the corner. She had like a CR 25 monster, and she's like, well, they have to be high level to be able to fight this thing. And so, yeah, we're all really high level. So that's the whole like premise of the one shot that she's running. The Pengu monstrosity. Yeah, it was the patron layer. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, that's awesome. There was a Monty Python sketch with a monster penguin. Really? Yeah, Penguin Butt is literally going to be running a monster penguin at some point during the one shot next Tuesday. It's gonna be awesome. I'm gonna dance at some other point. We're gonna do some more questions. Question time. Keep the questions coming. I have a few more, but you could always use some more. You will be wearing a penguin suit. I love it. That's beautiful. I've seen your penguin suit before. It's very cool. Yeah. I'm sure she's gonna have minions and stuff with her CR25 because yes, it's 4 players. It's 4 players. 4 level 19 players will mop the floor with the CR25. Let's just take a look at the stats on that and see what it looks like. It doesn't really matter what the math says. We'll mop the floor. Let's take a look though. Let's just see, out of curiosity, let's see what it says. Number of players, 4. Character level, 19. 1 monster, CR 25. Calculate. Supposedly it's deadly. Supposedly the deadly threshold is 43,000, and the adjusted difficulty rating is 75,000. So it's supposedly it's like 2 times deadly, but my gut inclination is to say that we will mop the floor. So I anticipate some minions or surprises or something. So I have full confidence in her ability to TPK us. Zack and I both are anticipating a TPK. Pangmabot's totally gonna destroy us. Pangmabot, she's so totally lying to us. I've done the math on the characters created so far, and there is no way a CR25 creature to challenge our characters, let alone kill them. Yeah. You don't, you could just, I use my gut and say it's not gonna happen. Zack uses math and says it's not gonna happen. So you have 2 confirmations. You have my intestines and you have Zack's math. I have used a Nightwalker in one of my campaigns. I have used a Nightwalker. My Ancient Dragon campaign fought a Nightwalker, but it was a reduced threat Nightwalker. They were not high enough level to fight a full strength Nightwalker, so I like changed it a little bit. They also turned it into a double combat. Like they were fighting some other monsters first, and then I had the Nightwalker begin to reveal itself, and the Nightwalker wasn't actually going to attack them until they defeated the other minions first, but they started attacking the Nightwalker prematurely. They didn't have to, they just started doing it, and so they brought him into the battle beforehand as well. Players tend to do that. It's like, oh no, let's attack it. Okay. How many backup adventures or sessions do you prepare in case 1 or 2 players can't attend your planned campaigns? 0. I don't understand why I would need to create a backup adventure or game session if people can't attend. If people can't attend a game session, I run the game session for the people that are there. Like, I don't put the game on hold because people can't come. That's ridiculous. That's the death spiral right there. I've done videos, I've talked about this. That is a spiral of death. If you don't play the game because, like, I believe what's being proposed here, what's being asked is, or the idea that's being put forth is, if all 5 players can't be there, we don't run the normal game. Instead, if only like say 3 are there, we're gonna put the main game on hold, and we're gonna have a backup game, a one-shot or something that they could play because all the other people aren't there. No. I don't do that. Homie don't play that way. Not doing that. If I have 5 players and only 4 can make it, we play the game. If I have 5 players and only 3 can make it, we play the game. If I have 2 players, only 2 players can make it, then we just cancel, because we don't have a viable mass of players at that point. You know, we're just gonna cancel the game session. But I don't like put it on hold because 1 or 2 can't make the game session. That's how you end up not playing D&D for long stretches of time, because people like just can't make it. They're busy. Either legitimately, or they don't feel like coming, or it's actually busy. Busy is not busy. Busy is basically, I have prioritized another activity over the D&D game, which might be legitimate. I'm not judging the fact that they've prioritized something else, but all busy means is that another activity in their life is more important to them than being at the game. So that is one thing, and that might be legitimate. Some things are more important than D&D. But also remember that people will just straight up tell you that they're busy as an excuse not to come, also if they don't want to. So sometimes we might cancel game sessions and put the game on hold due to players being busy, when actually they don't even want to play the game. You know, so we got to be smart about this too, and know that many people, when they just don't want to play, will give you the socially acceptable excuse of being busy to not come play the game. So my suggestion is to just play the game. If people can't make it, they can't make it. And here's the other thing: you use psychology to your benefit when you run the game anyway, because it's loss aversion. People have an innate sense of not wanting to miss out on something, not wanting to lose something. And so when they know the game is going to happen, whether they're there or not, there is a psychological thing called loss aversion at work, where they are then motivated to go because they know they're going to miss out on the game. However, when a player knows that if they cancel and don't go, you're not going to run the game, you're going to run something else, then they're just going to be like, okay, whatever, doesn't matter. I'm not missing out, so I lose nothing. But if they know they're going to miss out on the game, they have a stronger motivation to be there. So there's a lot of stuff working in your favor when you don't cancel and don't reschedule and you just run the game. Guess what ends up happening? You a lot of times end up with players that are there a lot because they want to play and they don't want to miss out. And yeah, it tends to work really well. And then if you do have players who constantly can't make the game sessions, you find new players. I'm sorry, your life seems to be very busy right now. And you have a lot of stuff going on. And so probably the best thing here is I'm going to find a new player. Once your life gets less busy and you have time to come play D&D again, you let me know and we'll see if we have a slot open. But right now, you are almost never at the game session, and that's fine. You're busy, you got things going on. I understand that. I'm not judging you. I'm just saying that since you're almost never there, we're gonna find a new player who can be there, because we run a game with 5 players, and I need 5 players. But once things calm down for you, you let me know, and then we'll see about finding a slot for you once one opens up. You know, but if somebody doesn't have time to be a player, they can't be a player. If you have somebody who is perpetually absent from the game. Okay. I talked. I don't know if I answered the question, but I talked. How do I find new players? Posters at game shops work very well. There's an LFG subreddit on Reddit that I've gotten lots of players through. Those are my 2 main methods: posters at a game shop and LFG in subreddit. Those are the 2 ways I've done it. I have a strong preference toward inviting strangers to my groups, people that I don't know who actually want to play D&D. I have a very strong preference over inviting strangers over friends who may or may not even want to play the game and might end up just coming to be there for social reasons and not actually be interested in the game. I like to have players who are invested in the game and want to play the game. A lot of times those strangers end up becoming friends over the course of years of playing together, and then you have more friends and it works out wonderfully. The other great thing about inviting strangers to come play at your game is if they are bad players, horrible people, or just not a good fit for your game, you just ask them to leave. They don't get invited back. It's very, very easy when it's a stranger. When it's your friend that you invite to play, who is, let's just say that he ends up to be a very bad player, very disruptive, and very problematic, it is very hard to get them out of your group. You know how hard it is. The relationship is going to be affected, and so you end up with a big problem on your hands. So there's lots of reasons I like starting with strangers in my groups. It's easier to find them because the pool of candidates is very large, because there's lots more people I don't know than people that are my friends. And I end up making friends usually after some time of playing with them, and they're more dedicated to the game. And if it's not a good fit, I can easily ask them to leave after a game session or 2, or even after a half a year or a year of playing together. They still started out as a stranger, and if they were causing problems and stuff, then okay, this isn't going to work. You're going to have to leave. It's so much easier that way. So I have a strong preference toward playing with strangers who usually become friends. Yeah, you're obviously gonna be nice to people when you ask them to leave your game. You're not gonna just be like, you suck, goodbye. You're not gonna do that. You're gonna be nice about it, obviously. I think you are strange, but in a good way. Well, thank you. If I have friends who actually like playing D&D, and I do, Joe's a friend. I mean, a lot of these people, some of the people in my groups, we were friends before. Who was it? So let's look at my Curse of Strahd group. Joe and I were friends before he started playing in my group as a player. So he and I were friends. But all the other players, Kevin, he was a stranger when I invited him. Trevor was a stranger when he came. I think I met Kevin. He was from an LFG. He was from the subreddit. And then Aaron was a stranger. He was actually Trevor's friend. And then Trevor, I think, and told me about Aaron. And then Aaron started coming playing with us. And then Varys, real name is what's his real name? Alex. Alex was a stranger. I think I got Alex. I think Alex reached out to me from a Game Shop poster. So 1/5 of my group was an actual real life friend, and we met each other and stuff because of D&D though. So I knew he was really hardcore into D&D. The others were all strangers, and now I would consider them friends, you know. And we've been playing together for quite some time. Okay. Hello, Luke. Hello. I saw you were running homebrew adventure about Mad Mage in Curse of Strahd. Yes, I am. Is there any possibility to purchase this adventure? It is not currently available for purchase. I actually have considered getting it ready and putting it in Lair magazine. I've strongly considered that. It'll probably happen someday. What I probably will do much sooner than that, though, is put it into... So my patrons at the $25 level have access to many of my homebrew things that I create for my games. So things that I've created for the Sword Coast Guard game, Ancient Dragon campaign. I haven't actually done anything for Curse of Strahd because this is the first thing I've actually homebrewed for Curse of Strahd. But I might make that available to my patrons at the $25 tier. I have to do it. I'm just throwing that out there. That might be a thing in the future. But I have also considered publishing it in Lair magazine at some point as well. That's always a possibility. Yeah, so that might happen actually someday, but it's gonna be like, we are literally already, we have July ready to deliver. August has already been written and I'm about to send it to my PDF guy. September has already been commissioned and I'm already getting drafts for September magazine, and I'm already reviewing things and getting things squared away. And I'm about to send all of the commissions to Penguin Butt for October. Like, it was on my to-do list for today, but I didn't get to it because I've got tons of crap I'm doing. So probably tomorrow, October commissions will go to Penguin Butt. So if it does come out, it might not be until like November or something. I work way in advance of my deadlines and stuff to make sure that we have ample time to get things squared away, written, reviewed, proofed, laid out, make sure we do not miss deadlines. So I work way in advance to make sure that what we get to you guys, to my patrons, is like high quality crap on time and up to our standards. So if it does get published, it's going to be a little bit out. If it comes out after sending it to Penguin Butt, oh, like she leaks it? Penguin Butt leaks it? Oh, Penguin Butt wouldn't do that. I know she wouldn't. I trust her integrity probably more than I trust my own. I'm out of coffee too. Totally out of coffee. When you're prepping for a session, how do you determine which 20% of your effort will give you the best result? Experience. I know exactly what I need to have prepped to do it, you know, and to do it well. That's how I determine it. Because there's always a balance between planning and then improving as you go. and I know the things that I need to have planned out well, and the things that I can improv. So the things that I can improv as I go, I don't need to plan those. I don't need to. Sometimes I do, but I don't need to. But the things that I don't want to have to improv, those are requirements for me to plan. And so out of those things that I plan, I just plan those things. Are some of them unnecessary activities? Maybe. But here's the thing. Once I have the adventure planned out, like literally written out, like let me show you. I'll pull up an example really quick of an adventure that I have planned out. Let me see. Let's go to D&D. Let's pull this from. Let's go from the Sword Coast Guard. Let's do main quest arc, and then let's pull out the Velvet Fists. Okay, this is a cool adventure. All right, so this adventure right here, this is an adventure I wrote for the Sword Coast Guard. These are my notes for the adventure. I have an inciting action, and the plot hook, and I have different rooms and stuff, what's in the rooms and all this kind of stuff. I actually wrote read aloud text kind of for this. Very simple read aloud text, not very complex. And then I have, so these are my notes for one adventure. Okay. This right here takes me quite some time to get done. But once I have this written, I can prep a game session in probably like an hour or so. Once this bulk of the work is done, it takes me very little time to prep a game session. Minimal time. If I've homebrewed it, So I know the 20% for me is to read over my notes here, refresh my memory of things, and I'm ready to go. That's my 20%. Now, if I didn't want to write all of that out, if I wanted to reduce my effort, then what I would do is actually, I think I actually have an example from my Sword Coast Guard game of something I did that is my 20%, my minimum amount of effort. Let me show you. Okay, now I'm going to show you. So what I just showed you for the Velvet Fists was me writing out kind of a draft for something that could be published. There was a lot of effort into that, formatting, read aloud text, the whole works. That was not 20%. That was above and beyond. What I'm about to show you is the 20%. So let's go over to there, and then I'll show you my 20%. Let me zoom out a little bit. This is a dragon lair. My players fought a dragon. I need to rotate. So for me, I need to have a map. So I drew a map. And then I need to know like the purpose of the room or what's in the room. So this is a lair of a white dragon. It's an ancient white dragon. And so I literally just have the contents of the room. Ice mounds are in here. I have some giant ice toads. Here's some details about what's in this room. This right here, with this information, and then over here, I have parts of the map, treasure ledge. This is the dragon's lair right here. I have the map. I am most of the way there. With this information, I'm pretty darn good. I can run an adventure with this information right here, and I can improvise almost everything else. But that's because of experience and practice, right? And then, I need to rotate this. The back side of the graph paper, has notes. So I have notes about the ice toad rooms, and then some other rooms here, a white Abishai room, a winter Eladrin room. And then I have some notes about the dragon lair right here. And there were some minions. It had some ice elemental minions that I made too. I don't know if I have that noted on here. And then I have the treasure hoard. I rolled the loot for the treasure hoard because I don't want to roll that necessarily at the game table. But that's it. You guys, 2 pages. The front page is the map with what's in the rooms. The back side has some details. That right there That's my 20%. That's my 20%. I can make that in, how long does that take me to make a map, decide what's in the rooms, balance some stuff, make some notes on the map? That's probably like an hour of prep, maybe. And I can run an entire adventure on that. So that's my 20%. That's my minimum that I need to run an adventure that's like 80% of what I'm capable of running. Now, if you look at the first thing I showed you, the Velvet Fists adventure, I wrote out the whole adventure. It's like almost 20 pages long. That's like my 80%. Now, was the Velvet Fists adventure better and more fun and more well-developed than my Dragon Lair? Yeah, it was. It was like the Cadillac of adventures. I put lots of prep time into it, and it was a better adventure. But that Ice Dragon adventure, the White Dragon adventure, was still a really cool adventure, right? It was very close in caliber to it, but I put a whole lot less time into it. So that's like my 20% that gives me 80% of my results. So if I'm in a bind, that's all I need to do to run an adventure, and I can roll with that. You know what I mean? I usually do more than that. But I can easily run an adventure with just that if I want to or need to. So I think that answers that question. All right, let's get that down. I need my sheet back. There we go. Do you ever plan dialogue for NPCs, or is it mostly improv? Improv. I have notes about the dialogue, but that's it. Let me show you my notes for the dialogue for the wizard encounter with my recent Curse of Strahd thing. Let me pull that up really quick. I'll show you what my notes are. They're not a whole lot. Everything else gets improvised. All right. And Mage's Quarters. Okay, role-playing notes. This is it. These are my notes. He doesn't remember who he is. Well, I changed that. When we were actually role-playing it out, I decided to ignore that note, and I did it. I did have him remember who he is. I had some information about what he wanted. His goals, his motivations are to find his staff and spellbook, and he wanted to get back at Strahd. He's been watching them progress through his tower. At first he believes them to be agents of Strahd. He must be convinced otherwise. You know, that's it. These are my notes. This is what I use for my dialogue. So I know the NPC's motivations. I know what his goals are. I know what he wants in the game world. When I have that information, I can improvise dialogue. Like, that's literally all I need. And then I just role play the NPC. So like, I don't like in real life, when I'm walking around as Luke and I'm talking with people, like, I don't plan my dialogue, but I know who I am and I know what I want. And then I talk to communicate those desires, to obtain objectives and stuff and whatnot. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't plan dialogue. I never plan word for word dialogue ever. I just plan out basic notes like this, that they're role-playing notes. They give me parameters, guidelines for me to follow to some extent, although I sometimes ignore them apparently when I am role-playing an NPC. So that's how I do it. I never write out word for word dialogue and then read it. Nah, that's kind of lame in my opinion. I'm just gonna improvise it. Colville, thank you so much for the 5 tier 1 subs, dude. I really appreciate that. Our boss is getting beat down. This is our second boss, almost half of the way down. We only have 20 minutes left in the stream though, so if you guys can kill that one and 3 more, we have a giveaway. But I doubt we're gonna get through it. I don't know. A lot of ground to take. Ed says I occasionally rehearse NPC dialogue when I'm bored. This is what I do actually, Ed. When it's game day, this happened for that wizard. Basically, the day of the game for Curse of Strahd, I was like brushing my teeth up in the bathroom or something, or shaving, and I was literally pretending to be the wizard, and I was talking to myself. I was like looking at myself in the mirror. I was practicing the voice I was gonna use. You know, I was thinking about how I was gonna roleplay the wizard, and I was practicing the dialogue. I was just talking to myself. I was pretending to have a conversation with the players, you know, and then I was practicing just role-playing the wizard. That's it. Now, the things that I practiced in the morning, did I do the same things in the evening when I ran the game? Probably not. The conversation was probably different, but I was getting in character. I was thinking about those things. You know what I mean? So I was practicing in a way, but I wasn't rehearsing what he was going to say necessarily. To some extent, yes. Some extent, yes, but not everything, because the conversation is dynamic. I might know how my wizard is going to open up, but I don't know where the conversation is going to go, what my players are going to say or do. You know what I mean? So there's an element of practicing. I would not, for me personally, I wouldn't say it's rehearsing, because I don't know what's ultimately going to happen, but it's definitely practicing. It's definitely walking through. It's kind of like establishing a mental model of how something might generally work or happen. You know, it's like guidelines. It's like a swim lane where the conversation might go, and I'm practicing swimming in that lane. But you can do lots of different things while you're in that lane. So, but I'm practicing those things, and we'll see how things go. I have no coffee. Where's the questions? I was invited to a campaign with gritty rules. 8 hours short rest, 1 week long rest. Session 0 is in a few days. I am torn between playing a wizard or a barbarian. Barbarian. Party has a paladin, druid, and rogue. Any suggestions? Barbarian. A wizard, in my opinion, is going to get hit way harder by those rules than a barbarian would. Way harder. Barbarians have large pools of hit points, and when they're raging, they manage to take very little damage a lot of times, and most of their abilities, the raging only comes back after a long rest, so that is kind of a hit to them. But they're still very effective when all of their special abilities are depleted. A barbarian is still very effective. A wizard, once their special abilities are depleted, they got cantrips. Yes, those are good when you get higher levels and stuff like that, but still. So if I were doing gritty rules, I would probably be a rogue, because like everything, there are no recharges. Here's the thing. When you're looking at gritty rules like that, you have to think well, you don't have to, but what I would think is, I need water. What class has the fewest resources that get expended and you have to get back again? Any spellcaster, when you run out of spell slots, you're screwed. You know, you don't have any resources. Warlocks escape it a little bit because you get it back at a short rest, but you still, without that short rest, which in this case takes an entire day, 8 hours. But which classes are least affected by those rules? Rogue is not affected at all, except for hit points, obviously. But rogues played correctly are masters at not taking damage and being very effective in all situations, I might add. But most other things, fighters usually, unless you're a champion fighter, you have recharges. I believe in some of the things, barbarians have the raging as a recharge. Druids have tons of recharging stuff. So any class that has recharge is gonna be at a disadvantage in gritty rules. So I would definitely say barbarian over a wizard every day of the week, dude. If you're looking to maximize for that rule set. But if you want to play a wizard for funs and you're just to have fun, then play a wizard, you know? But rogue would probably be the best one in that rule set to not have to worry about the resting stuff, because rogues like have nothing that recharges. I mean, unless you're like an arcane trickster, and then obviously you have some spells that recharge. But honestly, even as an arcane trickster, you rarely use those spell slots, so it doesn't really matter. No problem, dude. Happy to help. Yeah, dude, when I'm playing a rogue, they never get hit. Well, I think the biggest mistake, in my opinion, that folks make when they're playing a rogue is they go into melee combat. You don't need to go into melee combat when you're a rogue. You use a bow. You stay away and you hide behind corners. You stay back. You duck behind a corner. You take the hide action as a bonus action. You pop out. You shoot. Right? You do sneak attack damage at range because one of your buddies is up next to the guy. You pop back around the corner. They can't target you, and you're still doing sneak attack action. Like, that is so beautiful. It is a tried and true tactic. Now, yeah, if you have enemies that get you from behind, it can happen. But you have super high mobility. You can disengage as a bonus action. You can you can use a bonus action to dash. Like, you are so versatile. It is hard. If you know how to play a rogue, it is hard to mess you up. Dungeon Master's got to work really hard to mess up a rogue. It kind of is an anti-caster rule. It is. Those gritty rules. That's the problem with some of those rules. It's like when you start homebrewing, some classes get hit harder than others. And gritty rules like that definitely hit some classes harder than others. Absolutely. Yes. Giggling with glee. Hey, Deceiver, what's up, dude? Good to see you, buddy. All right. In making my very first self-made campaign for my high school class. Wait, hold on a second. Hold on a second. Mostly new players. It's an medieval Norse adaptation of our home fjord. In this campaign, I based the cities on the in real life one, but that's just details. The question is how to deal with rotations between towns. I don't know what that means. What does it mean to rotate between towns? Is it a smart thing? I don't understand the question. Returning players to the same towns as my towns is pretty few, even multiple times. Yeah, I don't understand the question. Sorry. I would need a clarification. I don't know what it means to rotate between towns. I've had to kill a game recently because I wasn't feeling motivated, but the group was awesome. And I feel horrible for having to do it because they were awesome and had some ideas with their PCs. Is there a way to speed run sadness? I don't know. What does that mean? Because I've been feeling so down because of it. Time. What are you gonna do? You weren't feeling motivated. That happened. I canceled a game. It's been about 6 months. I think it's been about 6 months or so, or longer. I canceled my Wonder Panda campaign because I was not feeling motivated. Because the same thing happened to me. I wasn't having fun. I wasn't enjoying it. It felt like work. I had no motivation to do it. I had lots of activities and work that I had to do too that was competing for time. That was another factor. But I also just wasn't feeling motivated to do it, and I canceled it. I felt really bad about it. I did, because I knew the players were having fun, and they were good players too. They enjoyed it. It was fun for them, and I felt bad. I felt bad having to cancel it. But I wasn't motivated, and yeah, I had composed the cancellation email at least once before and just didn't send it because I felt so bad. And then finally the second time I was like, this has to happen. I have to cancel this game. I can't keep doing this. It's gotta go. And then I finally sent it. But yeah, so I would say it's normal. I felt bad about it. It's probably normal for you to feel bad about it too. I don't know if I still feel like, even now when I think about it, I feel bad about it. So I don't think that there's a way to speedrun sadness, because like, I know I let the players down. I know they were having fun and enjoying the game, and that it sucked to not be able to play the game anymore. So I know it was a disappointment for them. And so, I'm always gonna know that it was a disappointment for them. So anytime I think about it, I'm gonna be like, yeah, that sucks. But it was the right decision. Sometimes the right decision doesn't make you feel good. A lot of times the right decision makes you feel crummy, but it doesn't make it any less right. And so you just have to press on and just be like, okay, that's what it was. Then I'll just try not to think about it. Let's just move. I had to make another decision within the last couple of days that was a really hard decision for me to make, and I felt really horrible about it, but I know it was the best decision to make. I had to do it though. It was like, it's gotta happen. Gotta happen, even if it hurts to do it, you know? So, but I don't know that there's a speed run to sadness. I don't think there is.
Yeah, I agree, Glass Cleric. Yeah. Ooh. Slam my cup down. Ah! Take that, desk.
What I mean is players returning to the towns they have already visited, possibly multiple times. Will this worsen the campaign?
No, I'm not at all. Not at all.
My players return to the same, one of my groups returns to the same town almost after every adventure. Waterdeep. It's their home base. It's where after every adventure they go back to Waterdeep. It's their home base. There's another major town. It's a small town, but it's a major in the sense of important, called Rassalantar. They've had at least one adventure there, and probably more are planned for over there. So there are definitely some major hubs and some important towns, and the players are constantly going to be going back and forth between them, because that's how I designed the game. Like, I'm literally creating plot hooks that involve these towns, and the players are going to these towns. In fact, I would say that it's an advantage to have hubs like that. It makes it easier for you as a dungeon master. The players get to know those hubs and those towns. They know the NPCs, they know where to get things and how to do things. And so it starts to feel comfortable and cool to them. You want to introduce new places and new things from time to time to keep things spiced up and interesting, you know, but there's also comfort in knowing a place and being in a place and feeling like, oh, we know this place. It's not, everything's not like unknown and mysterious. We feel comfortable here. We feel safe here. We're good. And now we're going to go on an adventure to a place we don't know. It's going to be crazy, and we're going to have to figure things out. So that's a perfectly fine way to run a game. That's how I run games. Yes, you can just ask D&D questions. You can ask whatever you want to ask. When running a spellcaster as a DM, how do you determine what level of spells to pick? Do you just go based off the level that your players can cast? No, that's not exactly how it works. It's kind of complicated. Honestly, I just pick spells and pick levels. If I'm creating a spellcaster, I kind of eyeball it. It's complicated. You can look at CRs. Like, if I have an enemy who's a CR 8, I know that I can go to the mage, which is like a CR 5 maybe, and I know that if that's a CR 5, I can use probably any 3rd level or 4th level spell, and my CR 8 is going to be just fine. I'm not affecting its challenge rating. The Archmage, though, is a CR 12 character, so if I start casting 9th level spells and stuff, that's probably not going to work for a CR 8 character or monster. But if I have a CR 15 monster, I could probably take all of the Archmage's spells and be able to cast them, and I'm not going to affect challenge rating at all. So it's a more complicated than that. It has to do with the challenge rating system, which is flawed anyway. So I tend to just eyeball things and gut check it, and then if it's not totally balanced, who cares? the math isn't balanced anyway. The game's not balanced anyway. Even if you follow the rules and follow the math, things are way unbalanced. So I tend to not worry about it too much. I know that in 5th edition, I know a couple things. One, 5th edition has, the characters are very powerful. It is almost impossible to kill them. They have made it so that character death is very rare. Even if somebody dies, you just go revivify them or get a raise dead. It's not that hard. By level 5 or so, you have the finances for that usually. It's not challenging. Or people can cast the spells. So 5th edition has made it so that, like, you know, there are no consequences for dying most of the time anyway. That's how they've designed the game. The game has trended that way. Like, earlier editions of the game, things were gritty and hard and you died and that was the accepted thing. Things have trended over the decades toward not dying and just living forever and things being very difficult to kill you. And that's 5th edition right now. That's been the trend of gaming. You know, if you look at video games, it's been like that. The first video games that came out, Atari, Nintendo and stuff, were hard and you died a lot and there were no saves. But video games now have save points and stuff and you can beat most games fairly easily. You know, that's how they're designed. So there's a change in mentality between how they design games these days than how they did it back in the 70s and 80s and stuff, you know. So there's a mentality shift that's happened. So in other words, so I don't worry too much about the challenge rating stuff. I just kind of pick something that feels right and I throw it at my players. And most of the time they're just fine because that's how the game's designed. It's hard to kill them. They have all the advantages over the enemies in the most part. In rare instances, a TPK happens. And they're very rare, very rare because of the way the game is designed. So I just don't worry about it too much. Preventing writer's block when creating your story arc, reading the monster manuals. Reading monster manuals. I look at cool monsters and I get ideas. I get ideas for adventures. Look what Luke just got. Tome of Beasts 2. And guess what? Tome of Beasts number 1 is going to be here in a week or so. It was on back order. It's taking a little bit longer. You guys see how thick that book is? Holy crap. And this book, by the way, might I point something out about this book? Wow. The monsters start on page 8. They start on page 8. And they go all the way to page 400. 400 pages of monsters. This is what's going to inspire you, what inspires me to like make adventures and run games. Holy crap. By contrast, we have this book right here. The monsters start, not page 60. Where do the monsters actually start? Oh, it's magic. Page 100? Nope, not page 100 yet. Oh, here we go. The monsters start on page 116. 116, that's where the monsters start. And they end on page 250 or so. So you have like about 125 or so pages of monsters. 125 pages of monsters, 400 pages of monsters. Giddy up, giddy up. So yeah, big old fat books of monsters. That's what I'm talking about. Tome of Beasts number 1, the first book, is a big, huge, fat sucker with lots of monsters in it too. Yeah, that's how you get inspired, baby. This is made by Kobold Press. You can get these on Amazon. I need to add these to my Amazon store because these things are super impressive. The other great thing about these, you guys, is they are balanced for Kobold Press's own campaign world called Midgard, I believe. which is a higher power campaign setting, which means all of these monsters are a little bit more powerful than their CR would tend to say they are. And that's a good thing, because player characters get more and more powerful with every splat book that comes out. So when you have a book like Tome of Beasts 1 and 2, where the monsters are more powerful than their CR indicates, that helps you as the dungeon master to create more challenging encounters to keep up with the power creep that is in 5th edition. So that's a good thing. That's how I get inspired right there. Yeah, that's right. That is the biggest disadvantage. They're not in D&D Beyond. That's the only thing. They're not in D&D Beyond. So I'll have to roll real dice with them. Whatever. I'll figure it out. Little guy. Little guy. Oh, Ed. Little guy's here. Where's little guy? Little guy. Oh my gosh, I have a cat convention. Look at this. Little guy, you want to roll? Little guy. Little guy. Roll. He's like going off camera. Little guy, what are you doing over there? What are you doing over here? Roll right here. Roll on camera. Little guy. Roll. Roll. Here. Right there. Guys, I have six of my cats are down here right now. I got 6 of them. We're gonna do a bonus cat strike. Let's do a bonus cat strike. In celebration of having 6 of my 7 cats, we're gonna do a bonus cat strike. There we go. See how many cats we can get on camera. Here's your bonus. Orange is going in the box. Oh no. Squirty Pie, go get some food. Go get some food. Go get some food. Go get some food, Mommy. Go get some food. I don't know. They're just looking at it. They need to eat. Squirty Pie, go get some food. Orange goes in the box. There we go. A new character for the video intros? Oh, I don't know. There's actually going to be a new character. At the end of July, there will be a new character coming in. Yeah, 6 out of 7 is pretty good. Yeah. When you have players have to travel a long distance for a quest, do you play out each day of travel to some extent, or just have like 1 or 2 encounters and they say they have arrived at the location? 1 or 2 encounters usually. I actually have a video coming out in a week or 2. I can't remember when I scheduled it. I have a video coming out that it will explain in depth how I do travel. So that'll come out in a week or 2. It'll be on my YouTube channel. So you'll get an in-depth answer. We're pretty much done here. We're just watching the cats. So I'm not gonna go into my diatribe again. Look at those lobes. Those are my kitty cats. Who's missing, Ambers? We have a little girl. What's the little girl's name? Her name is Tortellini. Tortellini is missing. Mommy, look at these guys. Oh, it's beautiful. All right, we got it. We got through our questions. Yeah, it's beautiful. All right, I'm going to find somebody to raid over here. And we're gonna raid somebody. As the cats finish their treats, we shall search for somebody to raid. Ooh. You fell asleep but woke up in time for the best part. Nice. Oh. Ooh. Oh, I've raided those guys before. I need to find somebody new. Somebody I haven't raided before. Oh, what is this? Somebody's wearing a cat. Are these cat ears? I think I just found somebody with cat ears on. We're raiding these people. The roaming D&D. All right, hold on a second. All right, I'm gonna get this raid set up. It's called the roaming D&D. Raid. I think one of the players. It looks like one of the players is wearing cat ears or something. We're totally gonna raid them. Pink cat ears or something like that. It looks like. Let's make sure that they are live. All right, they're totally wearing cat ears. Cat ear headphones. They're totally getting rated. All right, guys, I will see you next Tuesday. Penguin Butt is going to be running a one-shot for us. It is going to be awesome. Come hang out next Tuesday with us here on Twitch. We'll be doing a one-shot. So thanks for hanging out. We'll see you next time. And yeah, let's go get in this raid. Go jump in the raid. Show these people some love and support as we watch them play D&D. One of the players has pink cat ears on. It's so cool. All right, here we go. Bye. Bye, everybody.